Welcome back. I'm Jackie Jing, and I'm with Belly and Jesse, and we move on to some Group B action after SSG clinches a major spot. So now we move on to the Soniqs versus eUnited. Gentlemen, how are we feeling for this matchup? Belly, you love the Soniqs. I know whenever they're on, you're all excited about it, so.
Jackie, love is a strong word, okay? I like the Soniqs, and I like eUnited. I just like the potential of the Soniqs. Now, whether they get there, that's on them.
Okay, love the potential. I apologize. And Jesse, how are you feeling about this matchup?
I think it should be a good one. It's been a while since we've seen eUnited play, so really for me, I'm hoping to see some improvement on their end.
Okay, and we got the Group B bracket up. Veli, for those maybe just joining us now or they're not familiar with it, can you talk about Phase 2, specifically with Group B?
Okay, Phase 2 is basically the end game, right? Group A, we saw you win one game and you're automatically in the major. Last place, they have to go through a qualifier. Now, Group B, it becomes a little bit more brutal, okay? You have to finish top 2 in order to go into in a major qualifier. That's top 2 here in Group B. Now, if you get last place, you're going to be in a relegation game where you will play against one of the top teams from Tier 2 for your stay in Tier 1 Rainbow Six.
Okay, fantastic. And how do you say apricot?
It's apricot, okay? Listen, okay, chat, they're making fun of me. Is it apricot or apricot, okay? Like,
it's apricot,
now Jackie
and I
wants to roast
you.
people.
I roasted you. Okay, I'm done. But now let's check in with our casters, Blue and Stokes, who were also roasting Veli about his pronunciation of apricot. Am I wrong, Stokes? You were like, excuse me, checking that.
Oh, well, actually, sorry. Apparently we were muted on OBS, so I got to re-say the whole joke. This tends to be a thing with me, apparently. So, yeah, it's apricot. It's apricot.
Hey, what's up? Can you hear me? I hope you can hear me.
Wait, can you guys hear me?
I'm just here for a mic check. That's the only reason
wait,
I'm
hold
here.
on. Hello? Can you hear me now? Okay, anyways, it's apricot. That's the point of the conversation. I unmuted 17 different microphones to let you know that it's actually apricot. So, yeah. Yeah. But anyways, guys, we have an eUnited versus Susquehanna Soniqs match coming up, in case you guys didn't know. So that's what John and I are here for. Very excited. Don't know how we got on the apricot, but that's how things go.
Blue, please weigh in on the pronunciation.
Yeah, no, pretty sure it's apricot. That's the way I've said it in like the 5 times I've had to say it my entire life. So.
You're both really excited about this matchup here. We'll let you get prepped for that. And let's bring it back to the analysts. Veli and Jesse, let's focus on this matchup. We're a little bit silly today since it's Monday. The Soniqs, let's begin with them. And the Soniqs are 1-2, but Veli, you've said this time and time again, there's just something about this team. They have flashes of greatness, but can they pull it together consistently and shine today? What do you think?
First off, I wanted to say that was my ring finger. Second off, yes, this is, ladies and gentlemen, this is the first time we're ever gonna see the full Soniqs roster this season. Slebin is back, Gonfi is playing, visas are secured. You know what? Like oxygen, the potential talk ends today. You show out or you shut up. This is gonna be a very important game because, in my opinion, and a lot of other viewers out there, we believe that Soniqs are better on paper. They should win this game. So you know what? This is a true test for me.
Yeah, definitely. Jesse, we've talked time and time again about this team's individual play. Mm-hmm. So I'm interested to see how they come together today. Do they have that chemistry? I mean, I guess this is kind of the first time we'll actually see this lineup, right?
Yeah.
In action, I guess maybe at USN they were together in part. Actually, no, this will be the first time we're seeing this actual lineup, right?
Yeah, it will be. This is the first time Soniqs have had the whole lineup here because they did make some roster changes recently, especially bringing in Iconic. So it's interesting. I think Soniqs originally, when they had the idea for this roster in the preseason, they wanted to play a pretty structured style. I think Super as a player and as a captain really works when he can command his team. Things are relatively coordinated, they're relatively structured, and then they had all these visa issues. And to me, it seemed like the Soniqs kind of threw that out the window or put it on pause, and they just said, you know what? Let's let our young kids gun. And they threw out Lags, J9O, and Iconic, and they said go run around and hit stuff. And they did that to some extent, right? Like Iconic has the best headshot percentage in the league. But when you're playing a style like that, you really need everybody contributing. And players like Super, who might excel in the leading the team and the coordination and the strategy, they're just not there, right? Like Super hasn't really been getting kills. He's the lowest KPR in the league. So this like style of play doesn't really work. So they either needed more time to play in this like hectic, frag heavy style, or they needed to start playing more strategic. And it's really tough when you've got all these roster changes because it's hard to get brand new players on your team in with all of these strategies. So I'm hoping that they'll shift back over to their strategic style. They could still try going a little bit chaotic if maybe they don't have any recent practice with both of their Europeans on deck. But I hope now we're going to start to see Soniqs play it a little bit more structured and play a little bit better Siege than what we've seen for the first half of the season.
Yeah, there have been so many lineup changes, my head's spinning, but I'm really excited to see this lineup today. So really quickly, we're going to check out this quick video of the Soniqs.
Dark Zero is probably not only the best team that we played, but probably the strongest team overall right now.
How they kind of played the game, those last two maps just kind of took us out of the map, didn't give us a chance to really win those maps.
We expected them to ban Theme Park, and when they left it up, we kind of just picked it. That was a mistake on our part, which won't happen again.
Phase one would have been a lot different if we would have had Slebin. Just that caliber of a player Slebin is, it would have really changed games. So we're feeling confident going into phase two.
Now that we have Slebin back, I definitely think we're a top 4 team. Hopefully we have kind of that rust off of Slebin not playing for a little bit.
Well, I haven't played in 3 weeks, so we'll see how it goes.
I would say the team that matches up best against ours is probably Disrupt, mainly because I just think they're the best team in our division other than us.
Probably Disrupt, because like they're just kind of like the other top team in the region.
But I wouldn't say they necessarily are some kind of counter to us. I think if we were to play them, we would defeat them.
Chemistry in a team is obviously very important. I think we were lacking that for sure in the past.
But I think having that like mutual respect and that you like playing with the other people on your team, that's important.
If your teammates are there to keep you in check and make sure you're being the best version of yourself, I mean, that's what a teammate's for, to get you to that next level. And like our team chemistry is building, we're getting better every day, and it's all coming natural.
I would have liked to have the opportunity to play the best teams with our full roster. Honestly, stage 3 against like Dark Zero and TSM and SSG and those teams, and I still look forward to that. I'm excited to see what we can do there.
I don't think they'll be able to handle us.
Wow, really exciting to get that inside look at the full roster, y'all. I can't wait to see them in action. But let's switch gears and talk about eUnited. eUnited only has 2 losses under their belt against SSG and DG. Real talk, Veli, we need El Falma to come out of the floodgates here. He needs to come in hot. Am I wrong?
You know what? You're not wrong at all by any stretch of the imagination. The thing with Alfama, he came into the season under a different role than what we're used to seeing him under, right? And there's a lot of talk and a lot of praise about, you know, how great he is, you know, running on Ash and getting all these kills and whatnot. But we haven't seen that really. And Alfama's greatest stretch of individual play was when he was playing more of a bit of an anchor sight role, especially as Mira last play day. So you know what? It's not just Alfama, okay? It's the whole team. I need to see Call Out really come out and pull up. I need to see everyone else play well. I want to see Yeti more in action. Yeti's been playing fantastic along with Grixer as well. Also, I want Grixer to be the entry person for this roster that they need, because statistically he's been doing the best. The eye test, he stands out. I really want Grixer to continue his great play. You know what, eUnited, I really think that these are a lot of good players that are just a little lost right now when it comes to gameplay. Not lost as in not knowing what to do. Lost as in how to win, because they are way better than what the stats show.
That's really interesting that you say that. I was just about to talk to Jesse about this team, and I just feel like they have not found their identity. They haven't gone into a groove yet. And Jesse, we need your big brain here. What did they need to do to be successful against the Soniqs?
So I think that eUnited's biggest problems, first of all, is they're just like too aggressive, and they're aggressive in the wrong moments, right? A lot of their aggression is just like uncontrolled, Let's have 3 people run out of windows, like kind of dumb aggression, to be blunt about it, and that needs to be dialed back a little bit for sure, because we've seen them, like when they play a little bit slower, when they play a little bit passive, their coordination seems good. You know, it's a small thing, but their use of those the proximity alarms has been like pretty nice on defense, something that we haven't really seen from a lot of teams. So like I think there is brains somewhere deep inside there. We just gotta find it on eUnited. I also want to see them play a little bit better when they have man advantage. People always talk about how the opening pick determines the round. eUnited in the past 2 months only have a 52% win rate when they get the opening pick. That's essentially breaking even. That is not where you want to be. And I think a lot of that, again, comes from the fact that, well, they'll get aggressive to get that opening pick, but then they'll keep being aggressive. And really what teams want to, like most teams, if they get aggressive, they get that early pick, they'll start playing more safe because they know they have that advantage. eUnited often throw that advantage away. So really, I want to see them play more passive, and I want to see them play better with man advantage, and I think that eUnited could take this game.
Valley, I heard you sighing. You wanted to say something.
I was going to say one thing, but Jesse kind of went off topic. But when he said dumb aggression, I laughed because there's a lot of weird things that this team do. You know what? Whenever they entry frag or they go in for the entry frags, or whenever they're roaming, they have this buddy system where literally one guy leads the way, the other one is literally like right on his butt. But the problem is, I'm not saying it's wrong, but the problem is when the first one dies, the second one dies right after that. That can't happen, and we saw that when they went through in Theme Park into Cash, and 2 players died trying to kill Retro. That can't happen, and I need to see different type of game plan. You can't keep doing things that fail.
Veli's advice, don't do things that fail.
Yes.
Thank you, Veli. All right, prediction time, gentlemen. All right, we will begin with Big Brain, Jesse.
All right, let me tell you where my head's at. I think that definitely eUnited had more mistakes, and they looked worse when we've seen them play recently. But it's been a while, and I would argue that eUnited's mistakes are easier to fix. Again, Soniqs are coming in off roster changes. I'm going to put some trust that eUnited have taken a look at where they're at in Stage 1, or Phase 1, I should say. And I'm going to assume that they've fixed that stuff. I think eUnited are going to take this win, and they'll beat the Soniqs either 2-0 or 2-1.
Wow, okay, I was not anticipating that. Veli, I already know who you're picking. You love their potential. You don't love them, but you love their potential.
I love their potential, but I don't like them, you know? So I'm going to go with Soniqs. I don't feel strongly about eUnited, by the way. I'll talk about them just so people know. It's just that, like I said about Oxygen during the first play day, I said, I'm not going against them because I don't like them. I'm going against them because I want them to prove me wrong. But still, Soniqs all the way this matchup. I feel like this is going to be a 2-1.
Okay, well, let's get this rolling. I cannot wait to see this matchup. And for all of you at home, please make sure that you follow us on Twitter and Instagram. Tweet at us, how do you say apricot? Because apparently people are siding with Veli on this. Apparently Twitch chat thinks I can't even say it the way that Veli says it. But please tweet us how you say apricot. Also, we have our community poll coming up and our lovely casters, Blue and Stoke. So, all right, we'll be back in a little bit. The Soniqs versus eUnited.
Here we go now.
Welcome back once again, ladies and gentlemen. We are getting very close to the start of our second match here between the Soniqs and eUnited. But before we talk anything about Siege, I'm going to settle this debate once and for all. Here you go, folks.
Apricot.
That's how you say it. That's the end of the day. We're moving on. Right,
I agree.
Stokes?
It's apricot. I'm sorry. Listen, I know I'm from the Midwest. I'm from Iowa. Nobody there has an accent. I get it. But it's apricot. You just got to say the words right. Otherwise, they lose their meaning, you know? But there is something on the docket to actually talk about that's actually important besides English lessons, folks. We got eUnited versus Soniqs on deck. John, I get to ask you, because I'm walking us into this. How are you feeling about it?
I'm actually somewhat siding with Jesse coming off the Analyst Test segment, where I think that this matchup has the potential to be a lot closer and potentially more eUnited-sided than a lot of people think. The biggest takeaway that we got to look at, first of all, is the fact that eUnited has played far less matches than Soniqs have, and we haven't seen them play in a while. So they've had a lot of time to make the appropriate adjustments and put themselves into better shape. And even beyond that, from the performances we did see, things weren't, in my opinion, like absolutely terrible. They were definitely lacking in quite a few key areas, but these are issues that should, in theory, have been able to have been easily fixed over the past few weeks. So I'm a little bit more confident for what we're going to see out of eUnited for this one than I think what we've been talking to from a lot of the other folks.
For me, I'm going to have to go to the opposite side of the coin, my friend. I'm sorry about that.
Which is fair.
Honestly, I think the Soniqs are taking it in 2-0. I think anything over a 2-0 is not okay for them. They've been way too dominant without their subs, or excuse me, with their subs in, and now with their full lineup in, you're going to tell me that it's going to go to 3 maps after they look so good? I don't see that happening, personally speaking. But if it does happen, then it does. I just honestly feel very strong about them finishing this in a 2-0 fashion.
That was my thoughts looking at this one last night too, but I've taken a closer look at some of like the stats and whatnot leading up to it. Jesse had mentioned like entry fragging being a pretty key part of it, and we can talk more about that in a minute. And I agree that like especially in the early rounds, there's still a lot of areas where eUnited can sort of take control of a situation. From that point forward, that's where things get a little bit more dodgy. We can take a look at today's community poll question, though. We've been having a lot of Nitro Cell kills recently here in Pro League, and we want to know who you think is going to get more Nitro Cell kills in this match. Will it be the Soniqs or will it be eUnited? Go ahead over to our Twitter at R6esportsNA. Submit your vote, and we'll have the results a little bit later on during one of our Analyst Desk segments. Easily, I think, is like one of the most, if not the most accurate player for Nitro Cell kills right now. So they probably have a pretty good chance at that one in my eyes. I don't know if you have different thoughts on that.
I can't remember exactly who, and this might not even be in the NAL, but somebody was 6 for 6 on Nitro Cells across, I believe, week 2. So somebody somewhere, that was from that chart. I can't remember exactly who it was off the top of my head, but somebody was 6 for 6 or 5 for 5 on Nitro Cells. But truly impressive. I honestly agree with you, though. I think that the Soniqs are going to utilize it a little bit more, just because, especially with Easily, he's been running Mozzie a lot, and Mozzie's favorite utility is that Nitro Cell. So.
All right, well, we've got it coming up on screen now, so let's take a look at the maps for this series. We're going to see Cafe and Consulate get banned out pretty quickly, and our first map in the pool is going to be Oregon as the selection from the Soniqs. How do we look so far on the map pool here, Stokes?
I'm feeling pretty good about Oregon for both of these squads, actually. We've seen a little bit of play by both, so we'll have to see exactly what goes down with them. I'm currently getting up eUnited's maps for myself. Clubhouse is going to be our follow-up, so we're actually not going to have the back-to-back that we're used to here, John.
Yeah, this second pick that we see, eUnited's initial selection of map, is going to be an interesting one, because off of a first look, that's probably a map where they would be able to take an advantage on the Soniqs, but, that would make sense when you look at Soniqs' initial match they played this season on Clubhouse, but even just looking between matches 1 and 2, as they have already played 2 maps on that map before, there's already been a massive improvement, so I don't know if that's going to be as much of an advantage into eUnited's corner as they're thinking. That's where we could potentially see the 2-0 for the Soniqs happen pretty quickly, is in a potential bad map pick here if they ended up going to Clubhouse, where if Soniqs is going to be ready to play on that one, that could come back to bite them. Either way, the rest of the bands go through, and we'll end up with Coastline as our last pick there.
Yeah, and for eUnited, the map pool overall isn't looking the best, but at least for, Oregon, don't have any plays. The only map that they actually have a win rate on at all is Cafe. 1 play, 100% win rate, so 1 for 1 on that. But we won't have to worry about that for this best of 3. Otherwise, they're going to be going to Coastline and Oregon, as well as Clubhouse. So we're going to 3 maps that they have either never played or haven't won on within the last 3 months.
And we're going to find out how well that goes for them right now, ladies and gentlemen, as we are getting into the map now. Let's get down to it. It's Oregon for our first map between these two teams. Will Soniqs or eUnited come out on top? Let's find out, as we're getting into the ban phase right now.
Okay, well, Oregon recently updated. Really nice map. Been enjoying all of the maps that have been played so far of this area. So very weird map though, comparative to how it used to be. There's a lot more roam potential and some other things that have been added to the map that are extremely helpful. But now we're getting into the bans, and Ying's going to be the first one off the board for eUnited, followed by a Thermite. So still sticking to these very unorthodox offensive bans.
Yep, and keep in mind here, folks, that once again, Echo is available for play in this match, so he is now an option for teams to ban out of the pool as well, if they should so choose. Wumai, however, is going to be the first choice. We've been seeing him become more and more prevalent on this map, especially. So oftentimes you'll see either him or Jaeger getting knocked out just to try and reduce the amount of utility counter that we so often see from the defenders, and is oftentimes a very large piece of defenders' success in the current meta.
It's a good takeaway from the Soniqs as well, since they're starting on the offense, try and get rid of some of that utility as you were talking about. Maestro going to follow it up, so Echo actually going to be in play. Very interesting. And Mira. There's actually a lot. There's a lot of stuff on the field right now.
This could end up being a pretty crazy match with all that considered, especially when you consider the two teams' play styles too. We've been seeing, especially in my opinion, from the Sonic side, quite a bit of innovation from their camp over the past couple of weeks. So I'm very curious to see what gets brought to the table. And in fact, both those operators are immediately going to come out for eUnited as they'll have the defensive start. They're going to head into the basement, and we'll see both Echo. Well, never mind on the Echo, as that's actually going to get 6 picked out over to a clash. But Mira will at least be in play here for the first round.
Well, 6 pick for the Maverick instead of the Thatcher as well, but doesn't seem like they're going to run into too much trouble besides some mute jammers. Don't have any wall denial besides that, so it's the only thing they're going to have to worry about for the time being. But the pickup of the Clash, I believe, is smart, since the Soniqs are a very aggressive team. They really like to use Iconic as more of a probe more than anything else. He usually gets those big entry frags that we've been seeing from him throughout the season. So bringing that utility to slow him down even a little bit is actually a possibility to have a big impact on the round.
Fama on the Clash should be interesting. We've been seeing a lot of Clash plays so far this season to block out very restricted choke points on the map, and this map has quite a few of them. Not as many downstairs as we would say up in Kids, but still quite a few areas where the Clash is going to be able to get into the way and cause serious problems, and hopefully waste a bunch of the Sonics' time as they try to inch closer and closer to the site and look for a plant. The round has now begun. The Sonics have spawned out for the first time, and it's time to see where they're going to try and approach this from as they start to actually move towards the building.
And folks, if you are just joining us, yes, indeed, this is the first time that Sleben will be playing with the roster of the Soniqs since, well, last season. Now they have Gonfi and Sleben back, so it's a fully resurgenced Soniqs. We have the entire roster here. They're all playing, not a single sub in sight. Should have a pretty good map then. I would assume that since everybody's been in the building over on the East Coast, that there's been quite a few scrims to be had with the full roster, so shouldn't see any hiccups.
Finally going to start to see Sonics move a little bit closer here towards the first contact with eUnited. Quite a bit of a setup here already prepared from eUnited to try and shut down the Sonics if they're going to go this very backdoor-centric route that they're currently taking through both construction and the tower steps. Drone work currently being done, so not a lot to expect with regards to actual fragging power, but now the meeting room hatch is also open. That's another angle that the Sonics have to work with, and a little bit more careful that eUnited will have to be if they want to try to directly challenge against the pillar push, which is working itself closer to players like Alfama and Forest now as they finish off their drone work, figuring out what the setup looks like.
This is actually quite scary with the setup that Yeti has, just because if they attempt to mess with it, especially with the ADS behind it, it's going to be some very easy kills for him. So eUnited's made a makeshift bottleneck inside of the electrical room / pillar area here, and that's exactly where all the Sonics are going to be collected around. They do not want to play with this Mira at all, mainly because their only hard destruction that would have a possibility of breaking into there would more than likely be easily, since Sleben's X-Kairos would get muted.
Maverick doing a little bit of messy work on the wall there to try and see if they can get a little bit of a better look into the B site itself. Nade's going to connect a bit of damage onto Yeti. He'll be forced out into the tunnel trying to go for a frag onto Iconic, but very quickly will end up being forced back. No damage onto Iconic to show for it. Even worse than that, Iconic will recommit to the duel and this time take Yeti out of the fight entirely. As far as I can tell, that breach right there should be hoppable based on the push we saw from the mirror moments ago. First attempt at the plant comes in, but it is denied by eUnited. Now push back by the smoke working its way in there. Sleben also finds another frag here, however, against Grixer. Another plant attempt is going to be made as a result of that. Trying to sneak forward. More and more kills go onto the board for Soniqs, and eventually the defense will crumble to pieces as the Soniqs claim round number 1 here on Oregon.
Slow and steady wins the race for Soniqs. Very good intel early to see that mirror setup. An amazing adjustment to be able to handle it. Already had the ADS burned through a frag grenade over from electrical to get rid of the mute jammer, as well as the rest of utility in the vicinity. Overall, a really good push from the Soniqs. Didn't need too much map control either. Only took Big Tower and popped the hatch inside of Median. So it was a very fast take from the Soniqs initially. Not too much control needed. Overall, great. But for eUnited, it sucks because there was really no adjustment made there at the tail end. It was simply if Yeti gets taken away from the Mira, they're able to plant. That's all they needed. They just had to burn the singular ADS and make sure that Yeti was not behind the mirror. They had to make sure that no one could possibly nitro. So Elver and cut off that rotation from the closet. They did so very, very well with Iconic and those grenades. So eUnited gonna have to try and get more on the ball inside of those adjustments. Bringing the Mira is great, but it doesn't really seem like Mira was very applicable to their situation.
Not really a whole lot of player-based aggression coming out that time from eUnited either, which in my opinion would have been able to help them out in the early round. They had the capability to do that, but for the most part, they stayed very close to the site and very locked towards it throughout the entire round. And while yes, there was attempts with utility to delay the actual push from the Soniqs, for the most part, Soniqs were taking ground for free throughout a lot of that round, and that can be dangerous if they're just allowed to do that in future executes. As you know, the setup from eUnited looks pretty similar here. Obviously, a little bit more forgivable given the site that we're going to play on. But at the moment, just not a lot of roaming presence coming out from EU.
I don't think the top pressure would help them out all that much downstairs, but when it comes to any of the middle sites, I really hope that EU opens up the playbook to a more roam potential. I definitely think that could help them out a lot, especially with some of the play we've been seeing from them throughout the season. We've had a couple sparks of light from them on those roam games, but really it's only been Grixer that's been lighting up the scoreboard. He's the only one inside of the top 5 for stats this season as well on the team.
Going to see easily start his push off over here towards Master. He won't be alone either, has support from other teammates. Gomfi's also going to be pushing into Arsenal at the exact same time, so the team will take a nice quick clear here. They will spot the Yokai drone there, so they're going to know that the Echo is very much a factor. If it actually did even get 6-picked, I think they ended up doing that for another operator. Trying to remember exactly how it panned out, but either way, it's been revealed, and he'll throw that Yokai drone on top of Games. Callout will be holding that temporarily, so we won't have a whole lot of use coming out of the drone just yet, but in a moment here, as we're going to see, Callout will very much be spotted out easily. Is also going to work as fast as he can to maverick out the Master walk-in closet so they can get access to Games.
This is where things get very difficult as well for the Maverick. Torching that bottom of the wall is extremely dangerous. Just get killed to explosives or bullets or what have you, but Gomfi actually going to catch a very nice kill onto the Clash that opens things up wide. It's going to get immediately refragged, but I'd take that any day of the week. Get the Clash off the board, her very annoying shield gone. So halfway through this round, the Soniqs already making some very, very good time. Trouble now, though, is that Easley appears to not have been able to get rid of all of the metal beams inside of those two trenches in the wall? I don't even really know what to call them. But anyways, the two torch lines that they have there was not able to get rid of all of the metal. So until he's able to do that, that won't be able to turn soft. Easley's trying to fix it right now, but it seems that the Susquehanna Sonics want to try and get something done now, so they'd much rather put Sleben's utility down to try and get rid of it. But we've hit another... rocking the road here. And there's a mute down. So got to get rid of that first before we get that master wall.
Just a really unfortunate turn of events here from the Sonic, as it seems to be the only thing holding them back from their actual execute was getting that wall open and opening up that possibility. Of course, all the noise that's been made here in the meanwhile has more than likely alarmed eUnited to the potential presence that's going to come from that way. Easley's going to rotate over, line up a frag grenade to go to the inside of Kids, but it's not going to find its own lineup. The push is working its way in now. Force is going to get down. They had a Yokai drone lined up against the offending player who took Force down, but they're not going to shoot it off just yet. They don't want to give away the location of that drone in case it becomes relevant for denying up plants. Speaking of which, Soniqs getting very low on time to actually attempt their plant here, and so far the hold is, well, holding on tight. Super is going to be the last man to fall here from the Soniqs, and eUnited will claim the second round, tying us up 1-1.
Very slow moving round there from the Soniqs, and overall it was shut down just by the poor utility use on the Master Closet wall. That was really it. It took a lot of time for them to try and torch that, and that's the thing about Maverick's torch as well. It's a very finicky tool. I mean, again, easily he's a professional player. He does this day in and day out. Even he has some trouble sometimes with Maverick. And hey, you got to give him the benefit of the doubt in that one. All it takes is the one time, and it happened to be during a professional match. Otherwise, from that, though, the Susquehanna Sonics played out the round pretty well. I would say that they did well with what they had, especially when it came down to those picks that they ended up receiving from eUnited. So, but for eUnited, very, very patient. Didn't see too many rotations. Good utility usage and amazing play there by the Echo to just sit inside of Attic, wait on his utility. Doesn't have to do too much. It really did suck when it came down to the last gunfight for Slevin, though. Just not able to get those quick peeks to work out for him.
And as a result of the utility troubles back in round number 2, we are going to see Iconic bring the IQ into the play for this round. That'll get the 6th pick in. We also saw Yeti playing around, of course, still making them think they're going to bring the Clash to the table, when in reality we 6-picked it out, and we're going to go with the Mira along with Echo combo here to act as their anchors instead. So a little bit of a different shape here from eUnited. I agree with the change. The Clash, unfortunately, I don't think has been delaying as much as they would have liked it to, especially, of course, on the second round upstairs, where it's the first player to go down and relatively early on in the round too. So adjusting away from that, probably not a bad call in my opinion.
Well, we're going to have Yeti shift the size of the mirror as well. And for some of the newer viewers, you might be saying, well, Stokes, what does it really matter? You just switch the side of the wall. That is true, but it actually does matter in the grand scheme of things. This is going to make it to where you can't wall bang into the closet or anything over towards the southern side here, as we see Callout putting a mute there. So that's going to protect this entire closet area, as well as whoever's playing behind the shield. You're just going to have a streamlined segment right into the freezer door, which could cause some trouble later on if the Sonics are able to take control of that Mira.
Obviously, very early days here in the round, so not a whole lot of action transpiring just yet. Still focus on the drone presence from the Sonics right now, although they are going to move quite a few of their players into the big tower and start droning down from those stairs as well. Seems like a very similar attack pattern here for the Sonics when compared back to round number 1, where they attempted the same thing and came out on top. You can see Super lining up some of the air jabs here to prevent the defenders from rotating back out through laundry stairs and trying to mess with them in the late round. This is also what probably stopped United from trying to throw this aggression at them back in round number 1 as well, and kind of locked them in the sight, where Sonics were able to frag out against them just one by one, taking them out.
Well, still good utility use here for eUnited. Haven't burnt through too much just yet. The Sonics working their way downstairs towards Pillar. Already have Pillar control. This is a lot of control given up from eUnited for practically free. Just a little bit of utility and a pat on the shoulder, and the Sonics are in. Now very troublesome as torch holes are already being made by Easily to try and make this area inside of the B-bomb very difficult to play for the defenders. Drone in for Easily now. Down the freezer hallway, see how much information he can get, and it's quite a bit. At least he knows that Yeti is on the mirror, so we could possibly see a frag grenade in the next couple of seconds.
Sonics starting to get a little low on time, although still plenty in terms of siege turns here, but 2/3 of the round is now gone. Walls are starting to be opened up. Easley's got an angle to play off of here, and he's going to take it. Immediately knocks out Forrest from the breach that had just been made on the ex-Kairos. Slevin's going to have to re-rotate himself. Going back upstairs, I believe he still has work to do on the upper hatch above electrical, so he might need to go back and take that out, if not a different hatch that they need to try and deal with real quick. There is a pause on the actual execute, though. Gomphy is right at Pillar and Boiler, ready to execute. Easily and Iconic not too far behind him, but it's that upstairs hold. They're still trying to isolate something so that they can commit to the rest of this push to the inside. Nades are going to go on to Yeti. It's not going to be enough to do damage to take him out, however, but the plant is being forced, more than likely going to be interrupted by those smoke gas grenades, though, that are thrown out, easily forced out of the site. There's only 15 seconds left. They need to try and force the issue, but no! A nitro cell from Yeti, along with a follow-up into the breach, takes out Iconic and Easily. Slevin will be the next to fall, and now only one still standing here for the Sonics. The Super is also in a down state, but Alfama finds the next pickup, finishes off Super, and that'll be the end of it. eUnited take it on the timer.
Much better round from eUnited, and that all came down to how late the utility burned the Mira. There was so many ADSs there. They ended up putting 2 down, so you have to burn 4 pieces of utility. That's Sophia's entire kit, impacts, concussions, the whole 9. So when it comes down to that and not being able to push Yeti back, you're going to run into a lot of trouble, especially because they were able to lock down that closet position, which, as we highlighted before, was more than likely going to be a bunker area where you're going to be safe. That's where they put the smoke at. Very safe position for him. Doesn't have to worry about frag grenades, nothing at all. Save those toxic babes and wait for your team's comms. That's exactly what they did. Played it beautifully. But Flipping it to the other side, the Soniqs didn't take control of that mirror fast enough, and that's really what they needed to do. The mirror section where Yeti is playing is the entire crux of that defense. If you take that away from them, they more than likely aren't going to be able to stop you because there's no safe area to toss your utility over the filing cabinets.
All right, so moving us into round number 4 here. eUnited starting to set up a bit of a lead from the defensive side of this map. But of course, trying an interesting site to take it. We have the two-choice site here, where on either of the two first floor sites, you're going to be defending kitchen, but you have the choice beyond that of defending either dining hall or meeting hall. Obviously, we're currently using dining hall on the left side, where meeting hall would be right where our observer is currently looking at now. This, to my knowledge, has only actually been played in pro play like once or twice going off the stats. It wasn't a site that we saw played all that much, but it is a viable option. It just puts a lot more pressure onto the defenders to not lose control of crucial parts of the map, because if they do, it all tends to fall down like dominoes a lot more quickly than it does on the other side.
The very difficult thing about this site is that there's a section of the map that you can't control very, very well at all, and it's also a vertical area that actually looks into A, and that's small tower. If we go to the top floor here, you're actually able to see that entire floor right there is soft. Every square foot that is wood is soft. So you're able to destroy all of that. You can see down where Bandit could possibly be putting batteries or what have you. It's an area that isn't talked about too much just because we don't see this site too often. But in between that and controlling showers, that is what needs to happen for eUnited. The Soniqs, though, already starting things off strong. Lots of utility, and Iconic already burning all of his stun grenades.
See Gomfy, of course, doing quick work on the destructible flooring that we had talked about just a couple seconds ago. We'll let the one outside the door first, just to see if he could potentially catch any quick rotates that were coming out from eUnited. Not going to be happening, though. So instead pops the one on the inside, and we'll start to go hunting here if anybody gets close. You can tell, though, eUnited are not actively defending Dining Hall or the A site, if you don't know the names off the top of your head. They're playing much more off-site, trying to hold this 90 hallway where Alfama and Yeti are playing from. The shower's next to them, and then Grixer, of course, holding the secondary site against a push that might work its way in from meeting room. Soniqs are very much taking the small tower route, however, so the focus for them is on Dining Hall in that A site.
The real question is, though, where is Callout right now? I only saw 4 people on site. He seems to be upstairs all the way over near Armor. Yeah, he's all the way up in Trophy right now. So we have a possible rotation that could help, but for the Soniqs, they have full small control. There's no way to rotate there except through the showers hallway or pushing up through dining. So for right now, there's no flank that can possibly help them. This is all going to be straight up gunfights, and even if you kill them, you still have to worry about those air jabs. Oh, are we gonna go where we don't need roads? Is that what we're doing, Yeti? Are we looking for claymores outside? Are we gonna rush to the north and jump in the window?
He's
definitely thinking about it. But for now, the Soniqs have less time to think, John. 48 seconds remain. Not much time on the board to get anything done. They've expended a lot of utility getting to this point. They've soft-walled small tower wall into dining to try and go for this plant. Already have vertical control as well. So if they do get into the post plant, this is more than likely a wrap. But there's no opening kills here and no real utility burnt by the defense to try and stop them. Grixer still has 2 smoke grenades as well. He burns the second. Is he going to burn the last? No, he's not. He actually ends up missing because easily planted up in the southeast corner instead. Heads up play here from the Soniqs, and they're putting eUnited through the ringer. Oh, can he win it out? With the pistol, he cannot. Gets picked apart, but an immediate refrag, and that's all she wrote for round 4. The Soniqs making some quick work after what seemed to be quite a bad habit of stalling.
Yeah, and that's the tail of that site. I mean, just to go back to what I said at the beginning of the round, if you lose positioning, in that case it was showers, everything else starts to fall to pieces pretty quickly. We had the players inside of bathrooms, most notably the smoke, trying to do their best to hold it back and stop the plant. But I don't even know if eUnited even heard the plant because it was happening so close, and there was a lot of like audio clutter happening at that point. So it might have actually gotten snuck by them, and that may be why they were never able to throw the gas grenade that close to the planter and try to stop that from happening. Once again, though, just too much control given over at that point too, and EU couldn't really aggressively contest the plant because there were smokes in the way. They would have had to probably try to swing an angle or something like that and give away their lives in the process. So once that control is gone, everything flips, and it's the Soniqs game from that point forward.
I completely agree with you. I honestly think it's because eUnited wasn't nearly as aggressive as they needed to be off rip to win that site. If we're gonna sit down and just have an argument on how you win that site, no matter what the teams are, completely equal teams, you have to be aggressive on that site and get a pick early on. Otherwise, you're more than likely not gonna win it. Mainly because the offense has to mess up or peek something they're not supposed to or something along those lines to give you that pick to slow them down. When it gets down to an execution like that, and they've already pushed you off of showers and made it to where they have vertical control inside of small tower, and you can't rotate because of air jabs, it's going to be very difficult to fight that uphill battle.
Very difficult to do indeed. Well, thankfully the difficulty is going to sink a little bit here, as eUnited's going to be able to work their way back into Kids Dorms now. Just the upstairs site that they'll try to hold for their 5th round. Only 2 more left, so trying to at least secure that 4-2 half, or the best situation that they can try to find with their remaining rounds. Take a look at the Soniqs here. They're led out onto the board as well. Operator lineup looking pretty similar. We've obviously had Iconic switching back and forth a little bit between the IQ and the Ash, and I think has gone a little bit more towards the Ash for obvious reasons. He's going to be back on it again for this round. This was the round that I think prompted the 6 pick onto the IQ in the next one, though, so it's going to be curious if they run into problems detecting gadgets again, like they had that issue where they got tripped up at walk-in closet because they couldn't take out a mute jammer, or something else went wrong in the process of trying to knock that wall down, and that delayed them so long. So keep that in your mind, because if that happens again, they certainly might regret bringing the Ash back into play.
I think they'll be perfectly fine, though. They can just breaching around
they should
it,
be
right?
fine.
But as you were saying the last time, they still had something that they could possibly use to blow up the floor, and still didn't happen. Oh, gonna have quite a bit of damage. Actually, I take it back. I thought it was gonna be a lot more damage than it actually was. Easily only gets tagged by 1 bullet in the shin. Doesn't even do him for 25 damage. So he's still up over 75, and that's all well and good when it comes to gunfights. But for eUnited now, it's still a waiting game. They have Attic open, but this is not a similar setup to what we've been seeing throughout all of the land when it comes to Oregon. Usually we have a Wamai setup here, but since he's gone, they've had to adapt, and we have a mobile shield with that Clash up here. They have Yeti in tow as well with the Echo, so it seems that the Soniqs want to attempt to go to the north-south setup, getting that north double panel inside of Attic, then shifting towards the south into Master to get the wall and attempt to plant behind the foosball table. So we'll see if that ends up working out. But on the other side of the map, call out on Rome, somebody who's been decently quiet throughout the game so far, even though he has 4 kills. Feels like I haven't seen him do too much, but he's going to find himself yet another kill, and it's actually quite impactful as well. That's going to be Super. So any air jabs that Super did have are now done and dusted. Can't use those.
Got easily, and the rest of the team already opening up a lot of real estate from the inside of walk-in. Did they get enough to actually try and walk through it, though? I think they've got just enough on that left side to try and crawl through if they want to go for a plant here and try to plant more specifically through that angle. But time is starting to become a problem here for the Soniqs. Once again, eUnited has continued to play an incredibly passive game on some of these more traditional sites that we're used to seeing. And that's causing problems for the Sonic, as they're not being given the opportunities they need to come out on top early on. This on top of the fact that we saw the Romian from eUnited find the kill on Super makes Soniqs very, very timid to actually try and commit to a push unless they absolutely have to. And unfortunately for them, the time period for that is rapidly approaching as we get right around 20 seconds.
And this is where things are very, very difficult. You have to get aggressive towards site. Grix are getting aggressive with the SMG-11. Is he going to see the drop from Attic? No, it's Yeti to catch him off guard. Cleans 2, but easily as well with 2. And all of a sudden, it's a 1v3. But not even that matters. eUnited quick to the trigger when the execute hits from the Soniqs, and quick to grab round 5.
Soniqs, unfortunately, just seemingly not enough intel to try and work off of there for the execute itself. It's spurred on forcibly because of the time on the round getting too low, and goes pretty much as you would expect for low intel execute there. They get torn to shreds by eUnited, who were very much ready that entire time to shut that down, and now they will take the lead at 3-2, as we're going to get ready to head into the basement for the final round of the opening half.
Heading downstairs, so we'll see if it finishes in that 3-3 like you were saying, but looking over the operator bands, I'm trying to weigh them in my mind about how equal they would be. I honestly think that this leans toward the defense just because Mira and Echo are up, and Mira is such an insane operator when it comes down to it. I was actually having this conversation with my father earlier because my dad's interested in esports, and he asked me why Mira was banned so often. I said, well, she's got 2 one-way mirrors, and basically you find a wall that's got 2 reinforcements. You reinforce one side, you put the mirror to the closest side to the soft side, and then you just shoot them through the soft destruction, and they never see you, but you get a lot of kills. And he goes, oh, well, that's kind of broken. And I was like, yeah, well, it's not broken. It's just really good. Just really, really good.
In very oversimplified terms, if you're coming from another game, she basically gives you a free one-way angle.
Yeah,
like
that's literally it. You have free intel that they don't get to see. Your opponent doesn't get to see you. It's like sitting inside of one of those, what are those rooms even called at the police Police place. The police place. The police station. Interrogation room, thank you. It's like the glass in interrogation rooms.
that was a hard one for you.
Yeah, I can say apricot right, but I can't think interrogation room.
All right. Sorry, I don't know why. That was just really funny to me. We're going to move on from that. Get ourselves into the next round. Let's see exactly how the Sonics are going to approach this. Different take to start with, at least, as they're going to just go for a quick clear from small tower on the first floor. Doesn't look like they're going to try to send anybody upstairs to check for roaming presence. Not smart, because there really hasn't been much of that from eUnited, with the last round being the only major exception due to the kill that was found earlier on in the round from pretty much that exact spot on the map. A little bit of pressure is going to be put into Freezer as a result of this small tower clear, and Yeti will decide to commit the second mirror window this late to that reinforced wall now that they've had some pressure coming from it.
I like the idea behind what they're doing because Yeti pocketed the Mira until he knew where they were pushing from. But this might be a flea flick or a trick play here by the Sonics, and they may shift to the back of the map. And if they do, that Mira all of a sudden becomes very dangerous because eUnited's given up pillar every single time to the Sonics, and you can no longer play that unless you're going to play it from all the way back inside of Laundry. But even then, the Sonics will more than likely pop the Mira, so that's probably a dead man if that ends up happening here. But the Sonics, for now, seem to be wanting Freezer control.
Certainly are going to try their hardest to take it. Halfway through the round now, Sonics have been no strangers to using the full breadth of the 3-minute timer that they're given to try and set up for an execute. That's going to be a great way to start it. Easily works his way in, gets up on top of the dryer sitting in the corner, and finds the opening kill. It's not going to be just him that has success either. Slebin also finds a frag from Freezer side, or from Laundry side, excuse me, and is going to be able to take out another member. This is Grixer down now too, so no smoke delay, which has often been the bane of Sonic's attacks so far on this half. Alfama will be the first player to strike back, and now we'll have a great opportunity to continue that, as Easily, unfortunately, is not checking the hallway angle, and as such, Alfama will be able to walk right up, taking out Easily and preventing him from finding any further kills.
Well, after what seemed to be the kill they needed to force themselves onto Laundry, the Sonics are stumped. 3 versus 3 right now, all set up on different positions, but mostly centered around Freezer. Iconic still working his way through, but the troublesome thing is Forrest is still alive and he's the Echo, so you can shift those yokai drones around to get all the intel in the world that you could possibly need. We do still have quite a few drones here from the Sonics. A pre-fire from the Ash. Can he get it? What a shot from Iconic, but it's an equal trade. Can he possibly get another? He adds to the tally. That's a double kill. It's all left up to call out. The man's been doing it all, but he can't do it now. Roam game, anchor game, doesn't matter. The Sonics are through on round 6 and is a 3-3 split.
Very, very close round there, but at the end of the day, the Sonics' earlier frag set them up for success in the late round, and they are ultimately able to close out in their favor, taking us into the second half with a dead heat between the two teams locked at 3-3. Kids is where we're immediately going to go to for Sonic's initial defense, and they will also bring the Echo right into play now that they have the option to do so. Goyo is also going to make, I believe, a first-time appearance for this match so far, as we picked up by Super.
Not a bad adjustment either for upstairs. As we were talking about before with the shield setup, it's nice to have quite a few shields, actually. We've seen 3 shields upstairs. We've seen 3 shields downstairs. Oregon seems to be a map that tends to lean heavily on your anchors, and you want those anchor positions to help them, let alone the fact of what meta we're in. I mean, we've heard about that almost every single day that we've had games. So you guys know how that's been going with the 20-second meta and why shields are the way that they are right now. But either way, again, great pickup here from Super. More than likely going to put those inside of Attic, I would assume, at least one. I want to see where he places the second one, mainly because that'll tell us where the Sonics either want to hold or want to prevent something. It seems that they want to hold deep here in dorms, which is another default area that we see people play quite often. Oh, we're actually not going to commit any up there. We're gonna do a straight up A and B hold.
10 seconds left.
Okay. All right. That was really all I had to say about it. I'm gonna be completely honest. There's nothing else to go off of. I just wanted to see where he put the shields.
You like jump back in there.
I gotta throw you off a couple times. Keep you on your toes.
All right, we see the last of those shields going down and the reinforcements being set up here for the Sonics. We've got eUnited out on the attack for the first time in this match. So let's see what they're going to bring to the table. Obviously, still a bit of drone work to be done, so Forrest will be checking himself out in spawn for a few minutes there while I get that through big tower. And the rest of the team lining up for pretty much that same opener here. This is like the usual opener where you just have to deal with the attic reinforcement real quickly. So you at least have that capable avenue of play to work off of. From that point forward, things tend to get a little bit more varied, though, depending on the team we're watching. So that's where we're going to get a better idea as far as eUnited's individual strategy for approaching this beyond just that usual wall breach inside of tower.
Yeah, the one thing that we've noticed that 99% of the teams want is game room. That's where they want to plant. That's where they want all of the entire team to eventually converge onto, gain control of, and get that diffuser down. And it seems to be that the easiest method is what a lot of teams have been doing, which is attic to master, blow open those walls, and then try and put your plant down while preventing anyone rotating from dorms. So, well, for now, in the foreseeable future, I'm going to assume that's how this is going to be done until it's updated by someone discovering something that nobody else did, and we'll see it at a major or something crazy. But for now, get used to seeing this, because I don't think it's going to be changing up anytime soon.
Yes, the default stays true and looks like it's going to be following through in a pretty similar fashion to what we saw from the Soniqs as well. Already you've got quite a few players hopping over the roof from Big Tower, and I believe are working their way over towards Master, although that could change too. We've got Forest, Alfama, Grixer all up on the roof right now, trying to plan for something. Big window is an option as well, though that's much more dangerous and requires a lot of commitment from the attackers. Defenders, though, don't necessarily, besides Iconic sitting below there, don't necessarily have a huge active hold on this, though. So if they can either distract or get rid of Iconic from his angle in some way, that could be a potential avenue of play. And you can tell they're definitely trying to isolate it as they're checking it from the upside down repel on Forest right now. So that may be a piece of their play as things get down to the wire here with under a minute remaining.
Yeah, the Soniqs are making eUnited work for this. It seems that eUnited's drones have been centered around getting intel on site, but they haven't done too much work off of site, and that's where the trouble could come, as we were talking about before with Iconic. Some nice shots underneath from him as well, and Sleben picks one up. Oh my goodness gracious, Sleben's actually going to go for two, rotates towards attic, punches the window out real quick, begs himself and Alfama. Nice rotate underneath by Iconic, takes down Grixer, trying to push up White Stairs. Now it's all down to call out with that G8. Can't even win out that fight though. Iconic's all over that kill feed and picks up the flawless round.
I believe that's a triple from him on the round. Beautifully worked by Iconic. Unfortunately, eUnited seemed to have the right idea with the upside down repel from Forest against him, but either took too long to actually find him, and the reverse ended up happening as Iconic realized the repel was there, or another member of the team managed to read into the attack, and we saw the defenders get a little bit more aggressive to try and shut things down from that point forward. Either way, means the first defensive round of the half is going to go over to the Soniqs, and they'll also take the lead from that one, putting them just 3 more away from closing out this first map.
For eUnited, I'm not even going to go out on a limb. I'm just going to say this is more than likely what happened. They didn't find Iconic downstairs at all. Their main focus was the upstairs area with the drones that I saw personally, and there was never anyone that had found Iconic until he killed somebody. And when it comes to that, that's bad intel. To be completely honest with you, Oregon's not that big of a map when it comes to the mid-floor and upstairs. The only areas you truly have to worry about where someone can slip through the cracks are the downstairs or possibly T3, because it's very difficult to get a drone up a ladder. You can, but it's just very, very hard, as I've learned recently. I thought they took it out, but apparently they didn't. It's just very, very difficult. But instead, they attempt to push up White to try and gain control of the dorms area at the top of the staircase so they can possibly get a plant down, but Iconic was already there. They didn't even know that the gears were stuck, but he was the wrench inside of them, you understand? Yeah. So they're already switching it up as well, so they're going to be holding upstairs. They're going to kitchen dining, which this is going to be the 4th time we've ever seen this defended ever. So hopefully it works out for them. They're more than likely going to hold things just a tad bit differently. I want to see what they do with these shield setups, but more importantly, I want to see what they do with these Prismas.
Oh, we can already see one of them going down there, just making it look like it's a slight shoulder peek from the shield. That might actually get somebody. We'll see. Sleben trying to be a little bit trickier with those. We have the second one lined up on the inside of Dining Hall as well, sitting there behind the couch. That one's going to be a little bit more straightforward. I don't think we saw the third one get thrown out yet, is it? Let's check the UI
I'm looking.
here. Yeah, no, it was thrown out.
Where is it?
On the left side, Sleben.
Oh, well, no, I was talking about where.
I don't know where it physically is. Yeah, I just know it was used somewhere.
It's in the Matrix. It's gone. It's gone forever. No idea.
Fell through the map.
Yep.
I don't know. Someone will find it for us.
Now it's a search. It's like, where's Waldo? It's where's the alibi?
If you find it, post it on Reddit. We'll talk about it later.
Anyways, I'm willing to make a bet with you, though. Sleben's able to get a kill with one of his holograms, like he stands inside of it and they think it's him. Listen, first time I'm in Vegas, dinner's on me, okay? Okay.
All right.
Okay. But for now, though, as we're about halfway through this round, eUnited has completely avoided small tower. They're attempting to clear upstairs. We have some people on the double window, as it seems that eUnited wants to go for attic. Have trophy control already by the Ash. That's Alfama in tow with yet another member of eUnited. But this is a lot of time wasted here for the Soniqs, and they also have fallback plans. The hatch is already open to drop down, but I don't think Easily is thinking about getting out of here anytime soon. More than likely about to have quite a few kills. Callout's working his way in as well. That G8 so very dangerous inside of fights, but Iconic already quite a bit of damage dealt to him, and he's all over him. He's reading the man like a book. Callout hits the ground, but so does his life and Grixer's, and possibly some more. Oh, eUnited's all over the upstairs. Easily and Iconic quickly refragged, but the defense still has quite a bit of utility up, specifically the yokai drones of the Echo and Clash.
Upstart defenders there for picking up 2 kills while being completely overwhelmed by the enemy team. Easily and Iconic still are able to evenly trade as they finally are taken out. Alfama also took some heat from that one, so he's going to have to watch the engagement that he takes for the next fight. This will be at just under 25 HP. 45 seconds left. With all things considered, eUnited are still making good progress and getting themselves closer to the site, but losing Yeti here is not going to be a good way to push that forward. Gomfi was able to find him from down below, it seems, and has downed him. Has not been able to take him out just yet. There you can see the live pings coming in as they're trying so hard to isolate this down player. Gomfi also being careful of another member of eUnited trying to swing around and take him out, but no, he'll end up getting the better of that one as Forest goes down. Super and Co pick up the rest of the players upstairs and secure another round for the Soniqs.
Remember we were talking about the bans earlier, and I was weighing in my mind what I thought about which side was more than likely favored if it was equal? Yeah, it's definitely defense. Just to put that one out there. It is so defense, it's not even funny. The Echo pick specifically is just so huge. He's such an influential operator, and you really never know what you missed or what you hated until it's gone, right? And then you think back, or it comes back and you see it again. You go, oh yeah, that's what that guy does. Echo can do so many things that so many operators can't, especially with his denial as well as intel game. Being played like the Soniqs are playing him, at least, is truly extraordinary. I like to see how they're using that utility.
See the new Legion?
No, I don't hate Echo, actually. If anything, I would be, well, actually, you know what? I'm willing to say it on broadcast. I think Echo's an amazing operator, but I feel that he needs fixed. I feel that he really, really needs fixed. I feel like he's way too strong, and the way to fix him, I will present an answer as well. Make it to where each one of the drones has 1 shot and lower the refresh time. But make it to where the refresh time is not lower than the plant time. That way, somebody actually has to be smart with their cameras and not just, oh, I have 2 cameras, I can do what I want. Listen, Papegas, all right, we don't deal with that. What we deal with is skilled gameplay, and I feel that making Echo's yokai drones have 1 shot each with a faster cooldown time would be way better for Echo players, because it would prove that you're actually good at the operator and not just having 4 shots at your disposal at 15 seconds.
All right. We're moving on from that and getting ourselves into the basement site now. Soniqs, of course, taking an interesting trajectory with their site triangle. Soniqs, however, are always a team to try and take a round on an off-site when they have the opportunity to. We've been seeing that throughout the entire season, where they've been picking quote-unquote non-meta choices for their site takes as they went back over to the first floor site on the 2nd round and are only just now on the 3rd round going down to the basement. Have already been claimed on the first, well, have already successfully claiming the first 2 for themselves there. So definitely a little bit out of order, but still very much working for them so far in this defensive half.
eUnited's attacks thus far throughout the series haven't been the greatest, especially after that last round and how they handled everything. Instead, they went for the upstairs attack, which didn't beg them many kills. They actually ended up getting fragged out quite early on, comparison to what they delivered. I'd have much rather seen them go for the small tower take instead and just hold the rotations, but that's not what we got. I feel like for eUnited, they're overcomplicating these attacks sometimes when, you know, keeping things simple just because it's simple doesn't mean that it's bad, you know? But it seems that they're doing a lot better this time. Already have a pick onto Slevin. Not too big, but Slevin's been doing a lot of work when it comes to the frag category, so more than likely better to have him off the board.
Not easily looking for someone to try and challenge him through the angle he just took and got flashed through there. He's going to have to fall back pretty quickly. And also a bit of a surprise. Once again, we've got that pocket mirror window coming out, this time from Super. He's going to be able to put it onto the connector wall leading out to Boiler at the last second. I do believe it just got blown, though. So might already have been opened up for the attackers to try and utilize it for their own benefit here if they're going to be swinging in at some point in the next minute here. United very much reaching that same point that the Soniqs often did on their own basement attacks, now needing to get past, more importantly, get these walls down and open up a potential for a push here. That's the biggest obstacle that even Soniqs struggled to get past back in the first half.
Yeah, there's CQC, and then there's this, where you're literally existing 20 feet away from each other, attempting to kill each other, but no one can possibly pick up a kill anymore. Slebin already down, as we previously stated, but with only 30 seconds remaining, eUnited has to get a diffuser down somewhere. Easily only has one more Toxic Babe, so that's a possibility of delaying for 10 more seconds, but still have a Nitro Cell in the hands of Gomfi. Very risky peek here. Actually burns the Nitro Cell. Yeah, he confirms it, blows it up, doesn't go to pick it up, mainly because the attack is now going down. Smoke grenades in. Gomfi trying to refrag, but eUnited seems to be all over the situation. Not any longer, though. The Wrecking Ball of Soniqs runs through the whole crew. Diffuser down. Doesn't even matter easily. What a shot with that M590 at range. I didn't even think it'd kill him, but it's only one shot and one kill. Doing it old COD style. Very nice. From the Susquehanna Soniqs member.
He actually just figured out how to trade the ammunition out for slug rounds, so that's why he's able to get those 2 kills. No, I'm joking. But yeah, that's going to put us up at 6-3 now and put Soniqs in a great position to shut this map down in a pretty one-sided fashion in their favor. They end up making it 7-3. I'll have to rotate back up to Kids for this one. But so far, every single round has been won by the Soniqs in a pretty decisive fashion for the most part, too. So no reason why they wouldn't be able to shut this site down a second time. It's all on eUnited to bring some adjustments to the table and finally pick up a successful attacking round. Otherwise, this one's going to be closing out, and we'll have that 1-0 on the board for the Soniqs.
Well, quite a long road ahead for eUnited. But the last attack did not go the best. It looked really good at the start, though, didn't it? When the smoke grenades went down, a push comes out from the Soniqs. eUnited immediately gets on the trigger, gets their initial kill inside a freezer hallway. You assume the diffuser's going to go down. They have all of the areas shut down that they need. They've cut off all of the lines of sight. Don't have to worry about it. And then the Soniqs just bowl them over, man. Every single angle. It just seemed like the Soniqs had trackers inside of every single eUnited player. Just knew exactly where they were, picked them to pieces, ended up picking up that round. And again, it wasn't necessarily that anything extraordinarily bad happened or that eUnited handled something in such an unorthodox way or terrible way. You know, there was nothing truly terrible that they did. It's just the fact that the Soniqs won their fights. And sometimes it's as simple as that.
Attackers are moving out to locate a bomb and defuse it.
Which is a little bit unfortunate because looking at the stats, that was one specific area where I thought United was going to just slightly outshine the Soniqs on, and that would be an advantage that they'd be able to leverage into late round. But for me personally, I just haven't been seeing that this much this map. So my prediction that I made earlier for this one to be a close series, unfortunately, may not end up being true. But if this goes to 7-3, we still have that whole second map to worry about. So there's still going to be a chance for United to potentially bounce back there. That's going to be on Clubhouse, if memory serves me correctly. That'll be coming up right after this
You're
map.
completely correct, my friend. It is Clubhouse. But yeah, as you were saying, I saw something similar inside of the stats looking across them. But I thought that Grixer would be hindered by a Ying ban if it did happen, and it did. He isn't playing the greatest. He's 3-3-6, but Yeti as well as Alfama have picked up his end of the rope for the most part, 7-8 and 8-7. So decent amount of kills between the two, but the troublesome thing is that Soniqs that are lighting up the scoreboard when it comes to entry fragging, especially like almost every single round. We're gonna have another one here. Easily sleeps, call out, and that's the Maverick off the board. Only one hard breach exists, and they're out of utility.
And that also, the entry stats also explain why the Ying ban happened. There's like a really weird stat with United where if you look at their entries, for some reason, their best entry operator is Ying.
I can tell you exactly why. Grixer jumps inside of a building as Ying as all the Candelas go off and kills everybody. That's their main plan right now. And mainly it's because Ying is actually in a really good spot. She's well and good to use. She has plenty of utility to burn with, but if you burn with everybody else's utility, then use hers. She's the only one not blind. And she can cut off 2 angles with smokes. So she's very, very powerful in the right hands.
All right, well, time is starting to get low here for eUnited, both on this map and within the round itself. Only a minute left to try and find the impact here, and unfortunately, they've already lost Call Out. So they're going to have to work from a man down to try and bring this back under their own control. Same contention point they've reached here. Not a whole lot of pressure working its way in from the tower, but we got 3 out of 4 of their players trying to push in at the moment from the walk-in closet. Slebin is instead going to end up coming out on top of that fight as he's able to find the lineup against Grixer. Yeti is still holding out a big tower right now, waiting for his own capability to push through, and he's also going to get isolated out by Iconic and taken down. United continue to fall further and further behind. Alfama, yes, the nice find as he sneaks through the downstairs hallway and is able to find that one pickup, but that is it. Easily claims the last 2. And we will indeed have that 7-3 scoreline as the Soniqs take decisive control of map number 1 here on Oregon.
Okay, I take it all back. I'm actually feeling good about my prediction, but I will say eUnited, for the most part, it wasn't the fact that they seemed uncoordinated or anything along those lines. It really just seemed that the Soniqs are playing better Siege. eUnited not really able to find any, well, not really. They were not able to find anything on their offense at all. Not a single scrap of something happened. They weren't able to get a diffuser down. They weren't able to get a full execute on the site. They never took full site control. There was just nothing for them on their offense. And that's really troublesome coming into Clubhouse, because Clubhouse requires so much from the offense to do things properly. Otherwise, that defense is taking it back.
I agree entirely. All right, ladies and gentlemen, stick with us as map number 2 on Clubhouse should be just around the corner. We'll have another analysis desk segment before we get to that, though. So stick with us, and we'll have that right after the break.
Welcome back. I'm Jackie Jing with Veli and Jesse, and the Soniqs taking map 1 Oregon 7-3. So we saw the lineup in action finally. Iconic and Slebin looking pretty aggressive there, Veli. But what do you think of the new lineup? You impressed? I know you love their potential. Are they living up to it?
Of course they are. This is what we've all been waiting for. So the thing is, Iconic came into this season in Tier 1 for the first time ever, and I'm going to be straight honest. Like, I spoke to Super about the pickup, and Super said Iconic was just way far ahead of everyone else that they tried out. Iconic has so much game sense. It doesn't make sense for someone who's in their first time ever playing with the top players in the world, right? But then Slebin and Golfy, I'm going to give credit to both of them, the European imports. I love them. We all saw what they did in that one FaZe Clan match that Jesse casted over in Canada.
Yep.
And these guys, there's not enough you can say about them. One thing I will say, it works so damn well for Soniqs for the simple fact that these rovers and aggressive attackers, they can play lights out, which makes things that much easier for Easily, and that's why Easily was so comfortable on site getting 11 kills as an anchor.
Jesse, I want to pick your brain about Soniqs' aggressive play and how it kind of went against eUnited's roam clear.
Yeah, I mean, I thought that on the defense, obviously the Soniqs went perfect, and a big reason why I would say is because eUnited never got a great grasp on how to control those aggressive players. Iconic and Slebin had a good time just kind of running around the map, particularly on those dorms defenses, and there was never a response from eUnited to really shut that down. I think a lot of it comes down to the operators that were being brought. We never really saw a Nomad be brought up by eUnited, and I think that's like a big red flag for me. They brought a lot of stuff that was helpful to them. They brought a Capitao, they brought a Maverick, but they had like a Maverick and a Thatcher and a Habana. So it feels like kind of like maybe the Maverick could have moved off. Maybe you could have moved the Capitao around. There were some ops there that I felt could have been swapped and been utilized differently. Because a Nomad would have really helped. And with the way that Iconic particularly was roaming around the map, and then Slebin was getting aggressive in certain positions as well, that really could have been controlled better if they had something like a Nomad or a Gridlock, but that was just never really brought by EU.
And talking about operator selection, Veli, we said at the top of the show, Echo's back. Let's talk about Echo's impact specifically in round 8.
So Echo is the man. I believe it was Golfy. Yes, Golfy had Echo, and eUnited, they played extremely well. They cleared out the top floor. 30 players left alive. They got some quality kills. A lot of time left on the clock, right, for them to make a move. I was thinking to myself, okay, eUnited could win this. Then Jesse says, I hear Jesse in my ear, he goes, wow. So you still have a Yokai up there. What is he good for? And then the moment we saw the pings from Golfy's point of view down low in kitchen, Jesse said, that's what they're for. And Golfy just, he slaps Yeti, gets it down on Yeti. And that one play right there, in my belief, won Soniqs the round because it not only disrupted their attack after they had a beautiful roam clear, it got depths. And next thing you know, Soniqs got the next 3 kills, and that was it. Echo is powerful, and you need to use him right. And this just shows for all of you bronze ranked stars, get on cams after you die because you can still win rounds and help out your team.
Absolutely.
That's good advice, Veli, indeed. And Jesse, I do want to talk to you about Soniqs' attack on the basement and how both teams reacted, because I know that you were kind of impressed with how they both adapted.
Yeah, I mean, so they, in the first half, obviously, eUnited defended down in the basement 3 separate times. First one around one was kind of a mess, to be honest, for eUnited. I think they wasted their utility way too early, and that did allow the Soniqs just come in and go for a plant. But the second time, it was a great adaptation from eUnited. It was a similar push to come in from Soniqs, but they utilized their utility a lot better. Toxic Babes were timed well. They forced the attackers to really scramble, and the C4s weren't wasted early as well, which is really important. But then the last round number 6 in the attacking half, we saw a different approach entirely from Soniqs. And me and Veli, every time Morgan gets played, we have this argument over whether pushing down the lobby stairs, the main stairs, is any good at all, and I'm convinced it's garbage. However, the Soniqs did push a couple players down those main stairs, they got a couple kills, and they won the round. So it happened once finally in the NAL.
It worked. Jesse called me stupid, but you know what, it works, all right?
But I will say, it mostly worked because Iconic was in Freezer kind of popping off. But fine, they did have some support from main stairs, and it worked. So
oh my goodness,
that's
okay.
what that was.
All right, well, our community poll results are in, gentlemen, and our question was, which team will get the most Nitro Cell kills? And Soniqs got 74%, and eUnited got 26%. But actually, Stokes told us that eUnited pretty much.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. did it
I
on
don't
map
think so.
1. So sorry, y'all. Sorry, everyone at home. These community poll result questions, sometimes they're hilarious and sometimes questionable questions. But moving on. Yes. Let's talk about predictions. Are y'all sticking to your guns? Jesse? I see you nodding.
I think so. I think that Soniqs, they definitely showed up well, but eUnited looked better than I think we've seen eUnited in their last couple of games.
True.
Certainly their attacks were still struggling, and certainly I think Soniqs brought more than I was giving them credit for, so that's going to be a problem. But eUnited can address it. We'll stick with our guns again today and say eUnited can bring this one back.
Okay, Veli?
I will say this. I loved a lot of things that I saw from eUnited that map, even though they got beat pretty handedly. I love the clash picks. I love their ideas. The thing is, they didn't execute well, and they couldn't finish out most of those rounds due to them not being able to stop the rotations. That's the Sonic strong point. I'm still holding down the Sonics because their strength is working better than ever.
All right, Sonics or eUnited. Let's see who ticks map 2. Clubhouse. Don't go anywhere. We will be right back.
And welcome back once again, ladies and gentlemen, to the North American League. It's time to jump into our second map between the Sonics and eUnited. Sonics getting off to a decisive start with their win on Oregon, but can they carry that through onto Clubhouse? That is the question that we are going to be answering within the next few minutes here, ladies and gentlemen. Should just be seconds away from the map starting. eUnited is the team that needs to step up in a big way, in my opinion, if they want to have a chance on this map, especially from the attacking side. Stokes, and you and I were just talking about this before we went to the break. Clubhouse asks a lot out of you as an attacking team on this map, and with the issues that were present from eUnited, that could be a very bad thing when they get onto that half, yeah?
Yeah, I completely agree with you. As you were saying, we were just having that conversation, but thinking about it now and actually having you ask the question again, John, I'm actually thinking through this now. And for Clubhouse, the offensive bans could actually go in the favor of eUnited. You're almost forced to ban hard destruction or something that's wall entry. So Thatcher, Maverick, those are usually the bans that we're going to see. I don't think Sonics are going to keep that ban for Ying. I think they'd much rather get rid of something else. They'd much rather get rid of the Maverick or the Thatcher and leave the Ying up. But let's see if I'm right here. Are they going to get rid of the Ying? No, they're not. They're going to get rid of the Maverick, so we're definitely going to have her in play.
Yep, so the Ying will be in play. That hopefully opens up a little bit more entry capability here for eUnited, as that seemed pretty pivotal to their overall strategy. Their ban's going to be coming out right now, and they're going to get rid of Hibana. So, of all things, we'll still have the Thatcher in play, but 2 out of 3 of the hard breachers are going to be gone.
Yeah, well, the troublesome thing for now with hard destruction in the game, competitive-wise, not overall, because Ace obviously can be played by people at home, but he cannot be played here inside of professional play. Well, with Hibana and Maverick gone, that means that all we have left is Thatcher and Thermite. We're back to the good old days. You can't get a wall open, and you're also going to have to deal with not having a bandit. These are actually some very, very damn good bans by eUnited. I love that bandit ban, and I'll tell you exactly why. Thatcher and Thermite are going to be the two operators that you're going to see in every single one of these lineups. It's going to make it very difficult for each team to decide on what they want open. But for CCTV, it's not going to be that hard of a choice. Obviously, they're going to go for that CCTV wall. But instead of having to deal with a thing like you regularly would have to, you know, oh, bandit juggle, oh this, oh that, we have to go underneath and get it. You have EMPs. You just EMP twice, and Kaid cannot get an Electro Claw on the wall in time enough to stop Thermite from getting a exothermic off. So with having the bandit removed, that's a huge piece to the puzzle now gone.
All right, well, let's find out if those bans are going to indeed play into the favor of eUnited by hopefully easing up the early round utility usage they need to bring to the table in order to set themselves up for an execute. All those hopefully answered in the next few moments. Like you said, that wall over here on the east side of security is more than likely going to be taken out very, very quickly due to the lack of resistance the defenders will have access to from the bans that we saw go out. Away from that, it's about being able to set up an appropriate defense, delay things like the garage push by having an appropriate player on catwalk hold for as long as possible, and then areas like construction become pretty pivotal for trying to delay as well. That's where the focus is going to have to be from the Soniqs, not so much on denying the east wall, as is often the case.
If you want to know how important this wall is, there's an amazing video by Reaper EN. He's a analyst for Rainbow Six Siege. He has I believe it's a 12-minute video on this singular double wall. Yes, that's what I said. 12 minutes on one wall in Rainbow Six Siege on one map. And he goes through every single way that wall gets opened and why it is the way that it is.
That's like that video description is like a perfect metaphor for learning Siege if you're thinking about it.
Just 12 minutes.
yeah.
Is that how you felt learning the game?
Pretty much, yeah. Like having to rewatch rounds like 6 times to understand them the first time I watched certain maps. Like,
yeah, funny enough, watching Michael and Parker cast when Michael was talking about the smoke playing that position on club. Actually, what was it? I think it was last week's Wednesday matchup. He was talking about, oh, that's where Smoke used to play, where they have it in play right now. I was like, oh, I remember that. I felt so old. But now eUnited, quick work, only 40 seconds into round 1, and we already have the CCTV wall open, but not very difficult. The only person that could possibly stop him from doing so on the defense is Mute, and that's pretty easy to handle when you have a Thatcher.
All right, so eUnited still doing a lot of the drone work, and Yeti getting himself off to a hot start here is already found out easily, taking the Mute out of the picture as he was trying to go back towards red stairs, and pretty sure he got caught through the drone hole, so a nice find there and a nice pick from eUnited.
Still a long road ahead of them, though. Even though the CCTV wall's open, you still have to get a plant, and more specifically, you still got to get garage control if you're going to go for that CCTV default. But for now, we do have garage control in the hands of Super. Playing that, well, Mai has a shield set up somewhere as well, but more than likely on the other end of that reinforcement. Actually, no, it's actually not going to be on the other end of that reinforcement, so I'm sure we'll see that pretty soon. EMP's out, though, and some good utility usage from eUnited. Yeti rotates to the roof, drops an EMP directly above. Oh, actually, no, I take it back. They're going for construction. They've completely rotated. Assume that he dropped that EMP on the roof, but we've been on Super as well as the Soniqs members for just a little bit, so we didn't see these eUnited members rotate just yet. Rotating towards a construction take instead, but they seem to be all over the map for the time being.
Yeah, Alfama working himself down to the front door in the meanwhile, so Soniqs even trying to figure out exactly what the setup is like. You could see Sleben trying to go for the aggressive push a few seconds ago before United try to make their construction push. Sleben still remaining very mobile, which in this situation is dangerous. They've already lost easily to trying to re-rotate and, I believe, do that same type of aggression. And he could very much fall victim to that as well if he's not being careful, because you have players like Alfama, now back upstairs, by the way, who are grouped up outside of the security window, ready to try and stop any rotates from the Soniqs on the outside. Here comes the hop, but no, it's right into Sleben's point of view. He makes it too quick as well by taking out Call Out right after that. Tugboat is or Yeti is going to be the first one to try and trade this out. Got stuck to the kill feed a little bit too much there. Sorry about that. So Super going to end up falling on the exchange, and that brings us down into what is now a 1 versus 3. Iconic finding his first pickup here. Grixer, the last man standing, and not for very long. Sleben takes him out, and the Soniqs once again claim the opener.
Well, Sleben didn't miss a beat, did he? That's a lot of kills there, my friend. That is a lot of kills you're racking up with that 416C. Amazing round there from the Soniqs. Very good patience, especially with how eUnited was picking apart their site. So I'd say for eUnited, commit to a different attack that's more put together. I don't like that their initial entry is, hey, let's hop the CCTV window and try and kill the guy behind the shield. That's not the best way to try and get something to happen for you. I loved the EMP that you got rid of all of the Wamais, but where's the backup for that? Where's the next step in your attack? If you're going to get rid of all of that utility, you have to capitalize on it damn near immediately. That's why we see a lot of teams coordinate that with those EMPs. Get rid of all the ADSs, throw a frag grenade there immediately, and blow that man to smithereens.
IQ gonna get 6 picked in here again for the attackers, I believe. So I'll be brought into the picture by Forest as they're trying to deal with those gadgets a little bit more appropriately. Soniqs once again being the team to keep their overall site rotation a little bit weird here, is going to work themselves over to Jim as the next site. Jim and Master this is, to play into this one and just round out the upstairs sites here before they go and try to play into basement.
Not a bad site at all, but you do have to hold all the way across, and there's a lot of moving parts for this one. I think the two that people most notably know are the jacuzzi wall as well as logistics. That's where we see a lot of action go down later into the round, but more early round is going to be that jacuzzi wall. They're going to want that open early, as well as starting to focus on cash, so you can get all of the defense to centralize around the master construction area. That's where you start to gain those picks and so on and so forth. So we'll see how eUnited attacks us. I don't want to try and put any words in their mouth, just because, as we've grown to know, even inside of this round, they go about things in a very, very weird fashion compared to other teams.
Yeah, this overall site rotation, though, for the Soniqs does line up with their statistics. They've actually got a pretty hit-or-miss record with regards to the basement, whereas this one, while obviously it has fewer plays, does look a little bit better in the statistics department for their chances to actually win out this round on the average, day-to-day play day. Anyway, though, we're going to see a bit of work being done relatively quickly by eUnited to once again open up the outer wall. There's one on this site too, but it's on the jacuzzi balcony instead of one over on the east side that we saw on the previous site. That's now opened up a great avenue of play for the attackers, but that's only the start. There's a lot more these guys are going to have to line up before they can even think about trying to push into that breach. Otherwise, it may end up being near suicide for them.
Well, almost damage dealt through the drone hole, but no one home to receive the bullets. The Soniqs doing a very good job for how these bans went as well. Everything's very offensive-sided right now, as I'm sure you guys can see. The wall's getting torn to shreds extremely early on when we usually battle over them for half the round. But now we're halfway through the round, and eUnited's already looking to get aggressive. Quite a few windows broken on the balcony, but they haven't even put anyone in to deal with cash. Quite a bit of utility in here for Super as well. He's by himself, but now the single panel's been opened up. Easley's there, though, inside of logistics, so he could possibly lend a helping hand if needed. And that's exactly what he's going to do. He's going to open up a hole so that he can hear anyone inside of construction move. And it has to be, well, just about that size that Easley put in a wall for audio to pass through. So, nice setup here for the Soniqs, in very good position to defend this bomb site.
Once again, starting to get towards the lower end on the clock here. United, though, still with plenty, still to set themselves up. It's only around 30 to 20 seconds that we start to see teams really begin to worry about their capability to get onto the site, and a large part of that is because, unlike other games that have this objective set here, you only need to start planting the diffuser before it hits zero timer. You don't need to complete it. So that does give you those couple extra seconds to try and get yourself into position before you're forced to lock down while holding the F button. Everybody else, though, on the side of eUnited is very much getting ready to move in. We actually see a bolt, I think, almost connecting onto Slevin, but that's not going to stop him. He leaps out from the showers, drops the diffuser, picks up 2 kills in the process. Alfama, so far, now Grixer, the only ones that have found success from their team, but it's very important. They brought them out of bad situations. Now both of them need to recommit to a push, and they just don't have a lot of time to do it. Iconic, as a result of that, is going to be able to pick up Alfama when he finally tries to swing it, and Grixer is also going to be found out by Easley. That's 2-0 so far for the Soniqs as they take the leading edge here on defense.
Not a bad round from eUnited at all, but the main thing is that Grixer, my man, you got to hold that cross. Everything fell apart when Slevin was allowed to shift from inside of Master into Bathroom for completely free. No smoke, no utility put down to block line of sight. There was literally nothing there that was stopping Grixer from just shooting him in the side of the head when he sprinted across. But I'm going to assume that Grixer got caught on timing. That's why he went for the Capital bolts instead. Tried to bolt him inside of the shower, but still plenty of health on that Jaeger. And Jaeger's a very mobile person, even though he is a 2-2 now. He kind of got fat after, that 3-speed thing. So he slowed down a little bit, but that doesn't mean that he can't go kill your teammates. And that's exactly what happened. Full sprint from that bathroom shower right over the wall, picks up 2, and that's all she wrote for that round. After that, it was an uphill battle for eUnited. I, again, like those crosses set up. I just wish that they were held harsher than they were and that they were more ready for that, because Soniqs, as we've seen time and time again on these defenses, keep finding their way through this thick of the woods.
Close on the button, though. This time for the Soniqs, they'll now go back to the basement. And this is, like I said, statistically speaking, one of their actually worst sites that they have played on this map, with Bar being the obvious exception since, well, no one plays Bar.
Nobody plays Bar, unless your name's Flynn. If your name's Flynn, then you play Bar. That's why we don't like Flynn, because Flynn plays Bar on Clubhouse. If you want to be liked by everyone, don't play Bar on Clubhouse.
I'm waiting for, like, a team to figure it out. It's like that one team just dominates Clubhouse for all eternity.
Watch it be SSG at the next major. It's like, oh yeah, actually we've been in the think tank on this one for about 3 years.
I wonder like how much time, if anybody wants to divulge this information from any of the teams, if any teams have spent a considerable amount of time trying to get a bar strat to work, I'd very much like to know how much time you spent doing
I can
that.
tell you, before the CL run, the team that I was on, we spent 3 days trying to figure it out, and it's not worth it. That's all I can tell you. But that's back when I was not as nearly as terrible as I am at the game now. So
yeah.
But for now, I'd love to see a pro team try, just because there's so many new tools and stuff that on the defense to try and help you out. But the difficulty is the stock room where call out is. That's the most difficult area to try and hold if you're going to bar stock, because you can plant right where Yeti is. You can literally walk inside the door, hold out, and plant right there. This entire room is extremely difficult to hold down when it comes to a bar stock defense, and that's why a lot of people tend to avoid it. Plus, a lot of the vertical play, if you gain control upstairs, there's a lot of damage that can be done to your anchors.
Well, back into this round for the basement defense on the Soniqs. We've already seen eUnited check the first couple boxes on their list. The easy map control has been gained by them, and the easy hatches have been opened. Now trying to work on the kitchen hatch, though, where it does look like we've got a little bit more resistance, although there shouldn't be that much of it, to be fair. We do have a Kaid available for play, but the Soniqs have not chosen to bring it into this round, so there's not going to be much resistance in terms of actual electrical denial sitting on that hatch, but they can still fire back and trick it. So that is still something that eUnited have to be cautious of if they're even going to try and open that hatch. It looks like they'll use the rest of their capability to try and work them into dirt and push in from here.
Oh, this is slightly scary if you're an eUnited fan. We got a push coming down dirt. Not too much blue pressure just yet, though. Oh, but Yeti actually opens things up. Slebin, for some reason, prone inside of the oil pit hallway, gives up blue to eUnited, and all of a sudden this becomes doable. They have dirt pressure, but Colin's going to get traded by Iconic. Hell of a shot with the SMG-11. Wish we would have got to see that, but they're already in. Plant going down on B3. Let's see if Alfama can confirm. The rest of the eUnited squad near the dummies area can possibly get one firing back through the church wall, but we're already into the post plant for Gomfy and Super.
Force really just dumping his nades there to try and hold back the immediate retake. We do have live pings, I believe, on both players here. Alfama, a nice find, taking out Super, and those pings don't matter for anything. Alfama shuts them both down, and eUnited will finally get onto the board as the Soniqs reach the last point on their site rotation.
Yeah, they really do. Excuse me. They really do not like that downstairs area, do they?
No, they do not, and that means their stats, they're going to get even worse. The ones that I have in front of me, they're 1-3 on it right now before this match got started, so now they're 1-4 with a 20% win rate on that site.
That's just very unfortunate for them, because all it was for the Soniqs was not giving up blue. If we didn't see an aggressive peak there from Slebin, they more than likely waste a lot more time, and that trade doesn't go in vain that Iconic got inside of dirt, just because they wouldn't have nearly as much pressure there. Only having one person there to hold the angle through boxes, you can still play Armory decently, and the diffuser was down inside of dirt, so they would literally have to take over all of the box area all the way up to AK and then kill the people in the back of Armory to get him to come out of dirt to plant. That is a lot more steps than what was actually required because blue control is there.
All right, so going back upstairs here for the Soniqs as they'll try to take control of CCTV and Cash yet again in order to push them forward a little bit more here. Try to set themselves up for, in their minds, would probably be the worst case scenario here, a like 4-2 if they manage to run this one along with Master and then lose the basement again. eUnited, of course, wants to try and set that back. They've come close a few times here, but ultimately have been shut down pretty often on the actual execute itself. That's where they need to clean things up. That's where they need to try and lose less players here and get themselves onto the site. Otherwise, the Soniqs will more than likely take control of these rounds yet again.
Listen, I'm just happy that we got a plant from eUnited. That's what I wanted to see, mainly because of what we've seen from them in recent history in that last map. They needed something to happen on offense that was positive. Even if you don't like a team or it's like, oh yeah, that team isn't the greatest, you don't want to see them absolutely get destroyed. I want to see teams get better. I think eUnited has potential, and I like seeing them get better. But speaking of eUnited, we have Forrest on Blackbeard. This is a pretty weird pick. We don't see it very often inside of Pro League, but I like where he's playing it. This Blackbeard pick could help him have gunfights down the red hallway towards the top of Cash Stairs. So, I mean, for all intents and purposes, not a bad pick. No, all intents and purposes, my bad. Not a bad pick.
This angle became pretty important last round too, because there was a lot of Soniqs members that saw there wasn't any aggression there from eUnited and used it as a rotation point to just roll past the breach and get themselves into red. At least one of them died by trying to do that rotate and got shot, I think, through the drone hole that's just in red hall itself. So this might be another reason as to why they brought the Blackbeard, because they know the Soniqs are staying pretty mobile by that breach, and hopefully that Blackbeard can catch one or two of them. Nice impact trick coming out from Iconic. And he's one of the two exothermic charges from Callout, and the other one was already used in the doorway, so no chance for redemption on being able to get the garage open. They now have that tiny doorway to try and move through if they want to get it.
And that's the problem when it comes to only having one hard breacher. Only having Thermite on the field means, as you said, only two exothermic charges, and if one of them suddenly disappears because of an impact, you're down to one. You only can possibly get one area open if the defense doesn't mess with you. So these bans playing into the Soniqs' favor on certain fronts, even though it is pretty difficult to keep one of those walls sealed. You mainly got to do it by impacts, and that's why that main wall was opened up.
Alfama and Gomfi going to find themselves in a small skirmish here, but ultimately we will see Gomfi fall back to top red and continue to hold there. There was a second player that was potentially ready to swing from storage. It was going to be Yeti on the inside there, so it's a very good thing he decides to back up instead of taking that flight. Could have been something that we've seen eUnited easily trade out had Yeti been in the correct position. Yeti, Alfama actually, as we switch over to his perspective, is going to take a little bit of heat here now as he does continue to take out the soft paneling leading into the next room, but initially he'll get some fire back, and now Iconic completes his wrap through the basement, going all the way through there to finally pick up his first find of the round by taking out Yeti.
He's like Batman. He just disappears and reappears wherever he's needed. So some amazing play there from Iconic. Great adjustment, rotating down Oil Pit to come up secret stairs. So now eUnited in a pickle. Only 20 seconds remaining. They need to get a plant here. Seems that they want to smoke off the Cash Stairs and then go for default, but they don't have garage control either, and that's where the troublesome part comes through. Forrest should be the first one to peek, but he's actually the first one dead through the wall. Iconic bags himself another. I believe he ran outside for that one as well. Callout tries to jump into sight, but Susquehanna Soniqs, the Soniqs all over it. Round 4 in their favor. It's a 3-1 split, and eUnited not having any of it when it comes to trying to get this map control. Very, very troublesome waters for them, specifically on garage.
Yeah, unfortunately, the exothermic charge limitation really hurt them there when they weren't able to get into garage, and that's a pretty easy thing to trick. So that's something that they're not going to be able to easily get themselves past, and that lack of actual garage pressure, because they also failed to push from the front door. When you remember, they tried to push to there, and that kind of got held back a little bit. That unfortunately was the end of the round for them, as they had to try and push in through that breached wall. And at the end of the day, just wasn't a diverse enough angle, and they got shut down by the usual hold that we saw from the Soniqs, even from inside a garage.
I will say this, and this is something I want Jackie to ask the Soniqs if they do end up winning. What was their main game plan behind most of these bans? Because for me, what I'm seeing from the Soniqs is that it's pure uncomfortability. That's all they want to give to eUnited. We're going to ban anything that you think's going to be safe, it's going to be there, or that you want to use, and you're no longer comfortable in your position, especially on offense. I mean, the Soniqs banned Habana. We haven't seen Habana bans be a regular thing on Clubhouse in a very long time. She used to get banned out quite often because of the numerous hatches. But with recent history, we've been seeing a lot of Thatcher Mav bans, which is, I think, the most banned combo on offense right now. But that wasn't the case here. We had another Habana ban, and it was specifically because of that garage area, it seems to be. So I really want to see if that was the main game plan behind their move for these operator bans, is just to make eUnited uncomfortable, because they knew that they could beat them if they were.
All right, well, working ourselves into round 5 with the Soniqs continue to build up the lead, at least on the upstairs sites. They're going to look for their 4th on this round now. They're given the opportunity to. with a successful defense of Jim and Master. Already 30 seconds gone from the round here. eUnited setting themselves up to push in downstairs first and commit to the clear before they start wrapping elsewhere. You can see Forest already with control over stock. Some of the other members, of course, up on the roof still setting up, since window play is going to be incredibly important here. I'd imagine that west balcony wall may have already been popped as well if they had the chance to. Let's see. Nope, still up there. So haven't managed to get around to doing that just yet. I think there is a little bit of presence trying to be committed, over here to Cash instead. Now that we see both Yeti and Callout pushing in from here, they're going to try and clear this out so that they have that alternate angle to play off of here. Callout also moving in. It's actually looking like they're just going to leave Jacuzzi up as the second breach. Well, no, this should only be the first one. Excuse me. Yeah, we didn't have full reinforcements on actual balcony out there, so they just soft breached that one. And now they use the exothermic to get access to Cash, and that's immediately going to call the reinforcements from the two Soniqs players on the inside of Cash back to the actual site, as they just can't hold with that wall being open.
Much better offense here from eUnited, starting Cash and then more than likely going to rotate Jacuzzi. I'm going to assume they need to shut down that rotate for the Waits hallway. That's a super safe area for the defense to play. You want to rip that to shreds if you're going to have any chance at getting around here. But Gompy's going to make it more difficult. Grixer not having the best day. Didn't have a good time on Oregon. Definitely not having fun now. Are we going to have a rush here from Iconic? Nope. Stands flat-footed, seeing if anybody would rush inside of the breach, but doesn't seem to be the case. eUnited focused on other things, and they're not even going to have anyone man the Jacuzzi wall for now.
That would be a bit too bold for Iconic, considering the number of potential players that could have been out there and should have been ready to take him down if he tried that. Drone's going to go in. That's going to find out Iconic's position, but he's still sticking around, ready to take a fight if anybody wants to drop down from the roof and challenge him. He'll just change up his position so the drone intel is now going to be out of date.
Yeah, and that's the difficult thing. As you guys can see, plenty of drones destroyed on the side of EU. They still have 4 up, but those are more than likely going to be watching rotations or specific areas of the map that they need intel on. They need at least one of them to rotate now, though, to get us some intel, but it doesn't seem that anyone has the time to try and help. EMP's in, another ADS down, and the Soniqs are surviving. But not only that, they're thriving. 3 kills for the Soniqs, 4 now. And that's all she wrote for round 5. Easily laughing straight to the bank with this. Ha 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 ha. Oh man, unlucky.
Easily with some nice play right there, along with the rest of the Soniqs. Upstairs seems to truly be their domain.
He said
as unfortunately
much.
No one from
He said HP too much. Oh my! If you
the banter's coming out now, man.
If you guys need any entertainment at night and you guys are not watching Kev's stream, I don't know what you're doing with your time. I'm gonna put that one out there. His rank stack is hilarious. If you guys are not watching easily, shameless plug, go watch the guy on Twitch. He's amazing. He's an amazing human being, amazing friend, great guy. Go watch him.
You get the 6 pick away from the Kaid again, so we're going to try and bait them into thinking that they have to try and double clear some of these hatches. But that may not be necessarily appropriate. That'll become painfully obvious, though, when they see that there's no initial electricity setups on those hatches. They'll more than likely be able to read into that. The fact that it's a pulse being hidden, though, could throw a wrench into things. So those of you who saw that nitro cell chart, I forget who put it out, but whoever posted that chart a couple days ago, easily I think is the most accurate. He doesn't have the most nitro cell kills, but I think he is the most accurate with them, or like very close to it, if I remember reading that chart correctly. So he's certainly a force to be reckoned with in this department.
He doesn't miss. He does not miss. Well, oh, actually, we still have that. We still have that weird number that's popping up under Mozzie's thing, under Mozzie's Pest, the 96. Been seeing that a couple times on the subreddit where there's like
he just has 99.
Yeah, like, what does this number mean? And I'm like, I don't know. Battery life? I don't know. I've never.
Could the server even sustain itself if we threw that many down?
I think the server would crash. Yeah, absolutely. Could you imagine putting them all in one area and having the server decide which pest grabs the drone?
Oh my god.
Way to crash things 101.
Like 6 of them jump on it at once.
Way to have things crash 101. Have 200 pests jump at one drone.
Now the question is, with 99 pests, would you be able to block off every doorway?
Absolutely.
Or would there still be some doorways?
I would love to listen. I would love to see what Thatcher could do with 3 EMPs to like blaze a trail of like no information to sight with that. Could you imagine?
Just keep rolling them as you get
just
closer
keep walking
and
and tossing, walk and toss.
All right, well, we've got Alfama with a very forward hold here, and Alfama's actually going to walk right in here now, take control. Slebin is taking out his teammates in the meanwhile, but keep in mind Alfama's position, as that's going to become important in a few seconds. I have no idea how he was allowed to get this far up for free.
Where did he come from?
Major... I think he went through main stairs. I don't know if the moto hatch is open or not, but if he either came through there or just walked down main.
He just walked in like he owned the place, and Force is there as well. It seems like they're ready for a plant inside a church, but not anymore. Easily.
And Easly's record continues to soar.
I was going to say, nitro cells are definitely this man's key to success.
So away goes that wrinkle. Certainly could have been problematic for the Soniqs had they not been able to deal with that as easily as they had. Thankfully, it was Easily himself who picked up the kill and knocked that out. And now the rest of this round seems to have gone very much into the favor of the Soniqs as well. Everything's fallen to call out. Keep in mind, there's still 1 minute and 20 seconds left, too. It's very rare that you see us reach like an end round state this early on in a round, but it certainly has been the case. And Callout is now stuck with a very awkward amount of time. And unfortunately, not much that he can really try to do with it, except just go for the duels and hope for the best. He's going to try to take one here. I believe that's going to be Iconic on the other side of the fight. Unfortunately, it's not proving itself to be very easily. Flashbang goes in. Iconic flips around, trying to get some style points on that kill, but not going to work out. Callout gets the better of him there, brings us down to a 1v2, and this is now incredibly winnable when you consider Slebin is literally one-shottable right now at only 40 HP. There's also still an exothermic charge, so if Callout has the capability to, and there's not a mute jammer on the other side, yep, he's going to open this wall right up, revealing both of those players on the other side. No mute jammer there to stop him. It swings it open. Now he's got to make the choice. What's the better way to push? And unfortunately, his position is being revealed the whole time. The gun model gets in the way as he peeks it, and Slebin will pick up the final kill for free, giving that round over to the Soniqs along with a 5-1 lead.
Yeah, 5-1, and that's a harsh deficit for eUnited. After those bans not helping them out on offense, very, very troublesome for them. But they did end up getting a plant down. Let's try and keep things positive here. Did end up getting a plant down, so that's one good thing because they didn't get a plant the last time that they were on offense because they didn't get around that they were on offense. So it's kind of hard when you look at the offensive side of the coin for eUnited, but their defense actually isn't bad. Oregon, they split. Clubhouse, as you guys can see, still going towards the defense even though the destruction's been so limited here, but or the denial for the walls, excuse me, has been so limited here for the defense, but still finding some very, very successful things. We are going to have a Legion pick, which is something that is strictly unique to eUnited inside of the NAL. We haven't seen much Legion by other teams, but for some reason, Yeti has been favoriting this throughout the season so far, which is honestly quite weird just because Legion has recently got a nerf. You can't see his goo mines in between through walls anymore, so it limits his information game as to what it used to be. Now you have to do a lot off of sound and knowing where you put the mines because you can't see them unless they're within line of sight. So I really want to know why they continually bring the Legion instead of really anything else. Like a smoke would plug in really, really well here.
Attacker's objective is to locate a bomb.
Let's find out how well the Legion's going to work for them. I do echo your point, though, that we very rarely see the Legion get picked anymore. To my knowledge, this is only, I think, the second time I've seen him get picked at all in this season out of all the matches that we have casted. So certainly a rare treat to see him jump into the mix. See how well it works out for eUnited here, and specifically for Yeti. He's going to be playing that one. Can't get a good walk onto where they're exactly positioned yet, but hopefully it's going to provide. Considering this is like a pretty small site too, I think it could definitely have its uses here, assuming that they're placed properly and, you know, the rest of the team generally knows where they're placed. I'm imagining that everybody could try to play off the sound cues at a minimum here, and that could be some service to the team.
Legion's still helpful, and that's not what I'm trying to take away from him at all, you know?
Yeah,
and the thing with Legion, and the reason that he was nerfed in the first place, is that Legion does a lot of things. A laundry list of things. We don't even have time to go through it because the wall's already being blown up and someone might run in, but he offers quite a bit of utility on that front. Callout gonna get very aggressive. Alfama actually gets himself a kill. That's easily off the board. No more Capital. That means no more smokes that can possibly be passed through ADSs.
It's a massive find for the defenders to pick up. Still early on in the round here as well, as the Soniqs now to trying to find a way to get around that, on top of still opening up any of the other angles they want to use for their execute. We still have yet to see if they're going to try and get access to areas like Garage or try to swing into Construction and have a push from there. And keep in mind, again, because of the bans, Hard Breach is very, very limited right now. You've got 2 walls max you're going to be able to take out throughout this entire matchup here, at least this entire map, on a round-to-round basis, meaning you have to make very careful decisions about where exactly you want to go.
Well, scary times here for Soniqs as they're still trying to find a way into sight. They already have that CCTV wall open like we were talking about before, but they still have to worry about Forest inside of garage. And that's the main thing right now. As long as they have that garage position, it's all over. But no, Iconic floods the CCTV window, but this time it works instead of how things went for eUnited. But eUnited quickly fighting back. The shotgun comes alive for Grixer, but he's fragged out from behind as Slevin takes top red. Diffuser needs to go down though, but still have 48 seconds remaining to do so. Slevin's all by himself in this 1 versus 2, working his way towards garage. Nice free fire, but Yeti's here. He swings wide and he's able to win it all with the Legion. Not too bad of a pick, besides all of the things that we said before.
Thankfully, the position works out well for Yeti, and he's able to line himself up a double kill throughout the course of the round. The Legion does come in huge strides to help out. Seemed like a solid execute from the Soniqs as well. Things were looking very good, especially with Iconic's very aggressive entry in from the window on the other side of security. So CCTV still managed to get himself lined up with positioning, but unfortunately the team fell to pieces after that as they weren't able to appropriately deal with the actual cash hold sitting in the next room. Whoa, is this going to get confirmed here
absolutely.
from Forest?
It's Forest. I 100% guarantee you that this is going to be played. There's no way. Don't. No, not this time. Okay, cool. We're in. All right, we're in.
He like unchecked it at 0 somehow. Like,
I swear, like the 6 picks live to mess with me. No matter what team, I'm like, yeah, that's something cool we can talk about. We start talking about it, then a quarter of the way through, they're like, nah, I didn't want it in the first place. And it's not like they're doing it for the other team, right? It's not like, you flash it to the other team and you're like, I could pick this. It doesn't really matter. They can't see it. The only people that can see it is us. So it just hurts me. That's all. That's all. But a calf pick is I'm just gonna say unorthodox. Do you wanna handle the Cav this time? You wanna talk about her?
10 seconds to go.
Did John die? I'm gonna assume John died. So that's unfortunate. So, anyways, jumping back into things now, though, folks, is we're gonna, I guess, jump into solo cast here. Forest with the Cav. Not too much utility upstairs for him to actually help him out. That's the troublesome thing here. There's no mute jammers or anything. He's all on his own. He doesn't have to worry about a Jackal, which is what Cav's built for. If you are able to, well, if you turn on her silent step, you actually don't put footmarks on the ground. So they're more than likely going to be doing things off of earshot instead, which she also helps out with just a tad bit and makes her a little bit more quiet when she walks around the map. But for now, though, the Soniqs warming things up. I start attacking here in just a moment, but they did a very good job of clearing the map as well as using these drones to prod back all of these defenders, which they've done so again. Most of the presence for eUnited downstairs. They need to see this adjustment, though. I don't believe that they know that anyone's roaming right now. And if you guys have not been watching eUnited or seen Forrest play the game before, he is known for playing like this. This is kind of his calling card. Very sneaky play, likes to hide under things. It's right up his alley. So hopefully it's going to be successful here as we're getting the maintenance hatch, or excuse me, bar hatch open to the Moto area downstairs. Soniqs making good work of this. Still have one exothermic as well. More than likely going to put that down on kitchen, but could always go for a church execute as well. Easily is going to pick up our first kill here. That's on to Yeti. This is going to be the time for Forrest to spring to action. He needs to get some picks here, especially after this minute 30 mark. This is where you want to see those roamers try to get some work done. And there's quite a few options here. No one really watching their flank, but the kills keep coming through. Forrest, you got to do something here, my friend. He gets one. Can he get two? He can. He doesn't go for the interrogation either. Oh, no. Instead, he runs back downstairs after picking up those two, but the damage is already done. The Thatcher's already done his job. Oh, my goodness. Now Grixer actually coming to light. A little bit of damage dealt to him inside of dummies. Peeks with a shotgun, but easily. Nice shot from him. Double kill to win out on that aggressive smoke play. Down to the 2 versus 2 now, but Forrest not very much HP. He's about a breath away from death. Soniqs now droning out the site as well. Easily going to get a triple kill. A little overcompensation here from call out. Bad adjustment for him, and this plant is most definitely going to go down. Forrest has to make some magic happen. Whips out the Lujan pistol. He can do it with it. It's so good at range still. Downs one, and it's all left up to Super versus Forrest. Super hasn't had the best chance of clutching throughout the season, but he's going to need to do so now. Instead picks up easily. That makes the chances so much better. It's back onto Forrest to win this in a 1 versus 2. Thought he could possibly confirm if he was able to rotate quick enough, but it's not going to happen. And the Sonics seal up round 8, and I believe we've got John back too.
Yeah, I'm back. Let's not talk about what happened there. We'll bring that up later.
Oh no.
Just leave my.
Can I take a guess?
Yeah,
will
you
you confirm or deny on if I guess right?
Yeah, no. If you're right,
did you kick the power strip? Yes.
My foot got a little too close to the switch, and yeah. Sorry about that. I'm back though. Missed the last round and a half, but I'm
You're
back.
lucky I like you. That's all I'm gonna say. Gosh.
Trust me, I'm embarrassed for myself.
Don't worry. It's all good, man. It's all good.
I'm putting a piece of tape over that button now.
It's all good, brother. It happens to the best of us. I literally couldn't talk earlier because my OBS was muted. It's fine.
Nice. All right, guys. Well, we're getting back into the fold now. Apologies for my absence there for the last round, but the Sonics seem to have done a good job of thriving under the circumstances and have now taken the lead at map and match point at 6-2 here. eUnited now must come out with the next 4 rounds in succession. Otherwise, this map and this match are going over to the Sonics. They'll take the 2-0 scoreline and move further into the bracket to try and qualify for the qualifier for the major.
Yeah, and that's a big thing here between these two teams. The Sonics are going to be able to compete for that, and eUnited not going to be able to. So that's a very, very big deal when it comes down to it. We'll have to see exactly what happens with that. Especially if eUnited loses this, there's also a possibility of relegation. So
Attackers are moving out to locate a bomb.
Yeah, I mean that's obviously the much bigger note for eUnited is that with every loss they take from this point further, they are drifting closer and closer to elimination. I believe if they drop this one, they'll be only 1 series away from being put into relegation. So they've got to be very careful about how things play out from this point forward. Because unfortunately, they are showing themselves out to be the team that needs to show the most improvement right now. With this match being the thing to push that point forward a little bit more. The Sonics, in the meantime, have continued to look better and better, with the basement site kind of being the small exception to that, at least as far as this map is concerned. They've been looking very strong, and Slevin jumping back in seems to have helped them even further now that they've finally been able to get his visa and he's allowed to play.
He's not even allowed to play. He's allowed to massacre the other team. The guy's 14-1-4 right now. That's inconceivable. Like, we've only played 8 rounds. The fact that he's double digits right now just means he's winning almost every single gunfight that comes to him. So extremely impressive play from Slevin, especially after not playing a sanctioned match for so long. I know that over time it can build up to the point where you're like, oh man, I'm kind of nervous about this, but Slevin's been playing lights out. The guy looks stellar. Hopefully he can keep this up throughout the season.
All right. Only 1 minute and 45 seconds left here for the Sonics to commit to their execute. Still getting a good amount of control to work off of here already. Just taking some time to do the upstairs clear first and get rid of any potential issues that eUnited might have thrown at them up there. But for the most part, we're not going to see that immediately. They'll go from Logi, start working. Oh, actually, no, we do have an issue that they haven't dealt with yet. Thank you, Mr. Observer. We're going to take a look over here and see both Yeti and Alfama with the hold in garage. Now, the thing is, for the time being, as long as Sonics is someone committed to watch for this, it's not going to be a massive issue for Sonics' overall execute, as it does not seem to bring any type of blue play into the picture. They're mainly executing from bar along with those main stairs. That means, however, that the 2 eUnited players are going to have to realize this quickly and fall back to the site. Otherwise, they risk being pushed out and unable to contribute when the actual push comes in. A nice find from Forrest here, though. Grixer as well. They've created a kill box for themselves, and it's working beautifully, shutting down multiple members of the Sonics. Iconic will be the first to try and turn this back on its heels, but Grixer will shut down yet another player as easily falls out, leaving just Slevin and to a certain extent Iconic, but even he's incredibly low and has a very, very upcoming expiration date, which you're going to see right there with Callout's frag.
Unfortunate for Iconic, almost had the better of him, but Callout, crouch player inside of Oil Pit. All down to Slevin now in this 1 versus 4, but not much time. More than likely he's talking through things and discussing how they want to go about things for the very next site. Now, that's the important question, is what could possibly happen? 15 seconds remain. Oh, almost a nice flick, but nothing for the Thatcher. Grixer cleans it up. eUnited trying to keep things continuing here. Up to 3.
Grixer doing some work. They were getting a good 3-4 kills off that shoddy. Beautiful stuff from him, and a nice little choke point that eUnited had set up for themselves. There was a little bit of fire coming in from the sidewall on the left side of like that main 90 approach leading to Arsenal as well. As they tried to go for that breach in the wall, they unfortunately just got completely surrounded and will shut down those two players without much in the way of anything from a trade on the Sonics side. Great work from eUnited. Now they just have to build upon that to try to push this to OT.
Yeah, that single panel that you were talking about in the armory wall has to be one of the most banged walls in the entire game. Honestly, the amount of lead that has passed through that wall is probably inconceivable at this point with how many people play the game. By the way, 60 million players now, ladies and gentlemen. 60 million players for Rainbow Six Siege. So that's a pretty cool thing. We keep going up and up and up, and we appreciate every single one of you guys that plays this game and loves it just as much as we do. So jumping into what could be our last round here, but it seems that eUnited still has some in the tank. Soniqs trying to find their way through this offense. They've done a very good job so far. They've only gotten one offensive round, though, but that's the thing. Now they've gotten to the point where they only need one, which puts it all on eUnited's shoulders. They have to go perfect through 3, and this is the start of that. This is the triangle here. We're headed back up to CCTV. This is the first site that they defended on their defensive side.
Well, time to see if eUnited can bring it back here on the upstairs sites and be able to hold control for the rest of this half as far as the Sonics are concerned. Very similar loadout being brought to the table. It's a pretty straightforward loadout too. Not much to explain with regards to what the attackers are bringing to the table, as we've got a pretty basic set of operators here. You've got the utility set, you've got the soft breach from Iconic and Gumpy, and you've got the hard breach in the form of Super and Slebin working together there. Slebin, of course, also serves to take out quite a bit of the utility with any excess EMP grenades that he's going to have after taking out the initial wall. Speaking of which, time to do that now. We're going to see that thrown down. Quickly takes out the balcony wall and opens up the attack for the Sonics.
Well, that's the first step here for the Sonics. Last time, they ended up going for Garage very late, and we saw Iconic actually hop CCTV window to get it done instead of going the traditional way of underneath and attempting to gunfight Forest and Yeti. They went way more streamlined, and it definitely worked. We could have some interesting plays here, though. Iconic is underneath. We could see him impact Green Box and possibly get a kill. He keeps walking around inside of here, so I'm assuming that we could possibly see something, but instead, no. He's going for Yeti. They're trying to lock him down downstairs in Garage. That's going to be the Legion. Yeti's been droned out so many times now. They definitely have a bead on him, and it doesn't seem like there's going to be any safe haven for him for a while. Still have Iconic focused on him from the rear inside of stock, but quite a bit of damage dealt to easily from that T5.
Yeti causing so much of a problem, and he's barely having to move. See the Okai drone going to move in, hopefully get a stun out against Gomfi, but no, looks like he got spotted before the shot went out. No, either way, it allows them to take out Gomfi, so a nice push from Callout in order to confirm onto that one. The Sledge now out of the picture for the Sonics. Only a minute and 20 seconds left. They re-droned Yeti's position. That's not going to be super relevant at this point. They already knew he was there. They just reconfirmed it, and he quickly takes out the drone to top on that. The rest of the Sonics here still looking for a way to take him out, most notably easily at very low HP. This is literally a battle of pixels right now. Oh, it's so minute. I don't even think we can see it because of the stream we're watching. Ultimately, Yeti's going to try to swing, but Forest is instead going to take out easily.
Unlucky there. But Iconic with a refrag. Should have stepped up sooner to save your friend there, Iconic. But either way, very unfortunate. Able to keep them in the round, though. 3v4 right now with only 40 seconds remaining. Utility's still looking very good as well, especially for Iconic. He still has 2 concussions that could possibly assist them in getting these frags that they need to get a diffuser plant. Super pressuring downstairs, but no, it's actually Slebin to pick it up as Force just stands up inside of Garage. Don't exactly know why that happened, but all of a sudden the shoe's on the other foot. The Sonics all over the round. Grixer gonna have to shut it down with a shotgun again. He goes for the swing, but can Iconic possibly hear it? He can't. He's too busy trying to shoot a window out instead of listening for barbed wire. Now we need this plant to go down. Super more than likely going to be the catalyst for that. Slebin's been down. Super to cross. Can he win it out against the shotgun? He can. Can Super come up clutch? No, not enough time. And Super, the team captain for the Sonics, not able to shut it out. eUnited still in this one.
Very, very close, but the delay that had been caused by Yeti holding the bottom corner of Garage built itself up to be too much to deal with. I was actually really worried that Forest was going to cause the same problem and basically just run it to 0 timer before we even saw any sort of real execute from the Sonics, but thankfully they were able to deal with that pretty quickly. Forest was the victim of some very unfortunate timing, I think, from Slevin there, but still, even with him going down, it wasn't enough for the Sonics to be able to commit themselves to a push, as we still saw them get isolated towards the end and taken out 6-4, as eUnited is now within just 2 rounds reach of triggering an overtime and a potential 3rd map if they can run the full gauntlet.
You have to feel here for the Sonics as well, because it's like they're one step away from victory almost every single time, and then one of the EU members just messes everything up. And it seemed to be Grixer almost every single time when it comes down to those executes. He's so good with that shotgun. It's definitely working out for him today.
We are going to see the Sonics look to try and take this against a Master and Jim attack. Already seen eUnited try to close this one out here. I think this was the round that I unfortunately dropped out on, if my memory serves me correctly too. So
you dropped out on the basement one.
Oh, was it the basement round? Okay. So was it just that one round that I missed?
you just missed the the CCTV,
just
the basement site. Yeah.
It was the Caviar round, right?
Yes. Yeah,
okay.
Cav played upstairs inside of logistics. Forrest rotated really late and ended up not being able to win it.
Well, thank you for the catch-up.
You're very welcome, my friend.
Let's get back into round number 11 here. The Sonics out onto the board. We're going to see them move pretty quickly, probably to take out the same reinforcements they did on the last attack here. We're going to see them try and work themselves. Let's take a look. It's going to work its way over to Jacuzzi pretty quick here. Super carrying user in the process. They'll be able to take that wall out. And as for the rest of eUnited here, it's more about just continuing to set things up. They've got a pretty aggressive hold over towards construction. You'll note, though, the actual defense right now is very, very light here over towards West Balcony and Jacuzzi Balc. I believe that might have just been because we might have had some people setting up reinforcements and whatnot. And yeah, it certainly seems to have been the case as we got the Forest call out. Everybody else rotating back now. So I think they were just doubly reinforcing over towards Cash and CCTV. Grixer also able to line himself up a very early pick here. Gomfi, however, trades that back very quickly himself and starts working his way into the stash. There's a nasty surprise waiting on the other end of this. Man, the Sonics not putting any brakes on for this one. They're just pushing it right through into the site if they're given the option to. See this as well. They're going to be able to move in, get the plant onto the ground this early on, and I don't think anyone from United is in position to stop that. That should go off without a hitch.
I don't think so, because Forrest's inside of the bathroom and he quickly swings, but that's a lot of damage dealt to Gomfi as well. Gomfi's the last one that remains, and even though we have plenty of time to get through this, there's a clash on the field, and that's the troublesome part. Having to battle clash with now 0 frag grenades. Oh no, very, very troublesome waters indeed. Oh, he might actually end up winning it. He can't. Doesn't get enough bullets in. Oh no, if he had any other gun there at a higher mag capacity, more than likely is able to clean that up. But the SMG-11, not enough damage to the limbs, and eUnited stays alive in this one after a very, very fast execute from the Sonics.
Yeah, Sonics, I mean, they get themselves that first or second entry and manage to just put the pedal to the metal at that point, never really slowing it down, and it almost worked. They didn't get caught off on that plan attempt by the last second push from the Alibi. Things probably would have ended up going into their direction. They would have ended this map 7-4, but not going to be the case. eUnited rounds themselves back into it yet again, and now is only 1 round away from triggering the OT. We're going into the basement for this last defense in regulation. We did have the Echo 6. We did have the Echo picked initially, but it's going to get 6 picked, interestingly enough, over towards a Mozzie there by Yeti.
I like the pickup. I like the pickup a lot, especially for downstairs. Nitro cells can help you out quite a bit in the kitchen area or the kitchen hallway, that long hallway that attaches to the bottom of the main stairs that we're going to see Alfama and Yeti run through right now. But even though they did 6-pick away, they ended up picking up that Mozzies we were just talking about. And I like the 6-pick. I really do. Mainly because it synergizes so well with the Mute and the Vigil going for that combo. Instead, we are still going to have the Legion on the field, just not played by Yeti this time. It's going to be played by Forest. So no roam game unless we're going to see call-out step off of the actual site. Oh, actually, we are. Are we going to have a roam game? Can we go back down to the mid floor? We are definitely going to have a roam game. I take that back. There's a double reinforced CCTV wall with a mute jammer on it. There is most definitely a roam game happening. Most definitely. And they've opened up the Moto hatch as well for rotation. Sonics definitely going to have to do a lot of work when it comes to the drone games.
The roam game's been pretty crucial here for eUnited. This is something that Jesse had talked about, where they're able to pretty often get that first initial kill, but the problem shows up after they get that kill, and that they often flaunt that advantage more often than not and give away either a trade or, potentially 1 to 2 more kills back to their opponents in the process. But so far in this half, they've done a pretty good job when they do get that opening kill of being able to leverage that advantage pretty well into their own favor throughout the rest of the round. So as long as they're able to continue that, this roaming presence is going to be, causing some serious problems, in my opinion, for the Sonics.
Well, it all depends on how these first entries go as well. We've seen eUnited get really aggressive early round, and that's not something you want to do with this setup. You'd much rather be patient, allow them to try and clear the map, and then get picks like that. Waste as much time as possible while you're getting kills. That's the importance in the role of a roamer. You want to try and waste all that time and try and get some of those impactful frags. So for the Sonics now, though, just entering the building, Gomfi going to be the first one in, and he's had a pretty good show thus far throughout the day. Granted, he is even right now, but a lot of his picks have been quite influential over rounds. eUnited, well, at least in Alfamo's case, abandoning the upstairs setup and rotating back downstairs. And actually, no, it's going to be a shell setup for eUnited. They reinforce everything upstairs to try and force the Sonics to clear and waste time while they all rotate back down. And that's not a bad setup at all. This is a lot of info denial utility, folks, in the hands of Vigil, Mute, and Mozzie, specifically with Callout, because he practically has endless utility. He just has to refresh over time, gets to continuously turn that backpack on and annoy all of those drones.
He's going to continue to do that from within the church site. The rest of the players here, well, we've got the Nitro Cell coming out, but there's nothing on the other side of it. So unless they're presetting it, then we're probably not going to see much come out from that. Oh, no, hold on. Oh, very well done by Yeti. Plays it, I believe, off just the timing and the sound cues that are coming from below the floorboard in order to get a frag off that pre-placed Nitro Cell. Very well done.
I really wish we had some drone orbs, or whatever you want to call them, the drone UI section for the defense for Mozzie.
Yeah.
I'd really like to see if he got that off some intel or if it was just straight up game sense. But either way, an amazing kill and much needed to open this round up and continue to slow down the Sonics offense. Main focus now, though, is the blue hatch. Gomfi staring down inside the depths. Hasn't seen too much. eUnited waiting for this execute. Every bit of utility pouring in from the Sonics offense, but it's not doing too much right now, and that's a troublesome part. A lot of the utility now dying in the hands of these offensive players. Easily and Iconic both off the board. That's a lot of util that is usually used for these executes. Gomfi, though, can he possibly go for 2? He can't. Forrest staying alive. A pre-fire through soft destruction gets him super as well. Call out all over the last kill, and we're going to overtime.
The series not done just yet. eUnited still proving they certainly have the fight left in them if it's only on the defensive side. And now, time to really prove themselves as we're going to be jumping on to attack. eUnited's got an even greater advantage working here with how defensive side of this map has been. They get to start on defense and have the large majority of their OT rounds get played out on that side.
Yep, we jump back and forth every single round between these two. It's a best of 3 format for these rounds. So whoever gets 2 rounds first will win the map. And that's completely dependent on what happens to their team as well as where they're going inside of this group. So very, very big stuff on the line here. CCTV going to be the first site for eUnited. Not a bad choice either, since both times they defended it, they won.
And so the Sonics, once again, you need to kind of clean up their strategy here. It's a lot of mid-round interruptions that they haven't been able to work their way past, whether it was Yeti holding the close corner downstairs with Forrest also available up on Cat to assist, all that happening from within Garage, or other issues that have stopped the Sonics from making forward progress. These things are truly the only things that's preventing their executes from going off without a hitch here. If they're able to improve that, they may finally be able to yield themselves yet another attacking round. These small bumps in the road, they need to try and find paths past, otherwise they'll be running out of time yet again. Won't have the time to properly drone and gather intel as to what the setup looks like and set themselves up for that. They'll be spending far too much of the round focusing on dealing with off-site players or utility to actually focus on the execute, where they've shown themselves quite a bit of potential for success, but unfortunately haven't seen it shine through as much as they would have liked.
Well, now that things have gotten closer, we got some more stuff to talk about. We've actually previously seen the Sonics win Clubhouse this season. It was up against Tempo Storm, who they 2-0'd, but that doesn't really tell the full story. There was a lot that happened inside of this match, and specifically on Clubhouse. Tempo was actually pretty damn good on Club, but Sonics ended up edging them out. But that's not the most important thing. The most important thing here is the Clubhouse bans for offense in that matchup were Maverick and Habana. And last time the Sonics ended up winning this. They didn't allow it to go to OT like they are right now, but they ended up winning it the last time. So we'll see if they can possibly clean up these offenses with those two operators banned.
Force is going to throw another disc down on the ground here as they'll continue to try and build those up since he'll will be the main player that United will look to hold on a garage control for the rest of this round. Speaking of drones, one's going to work its way in here now. And we'll see more of the eUnited setup get revealed a little bit. At the same time, you've got Yeti in a pretty aggressive position on the garage rotate, ready to potentially swing against the player over towards the blue stairs. He's got another drone on him for this too. Also going for these reloads. It's going to be a bit risky with the amount of time you need to spend on it, but thankfully the pressure from the player at blue steps isn't actually in the building yet. He's still on rappel. The nearest danger he would have would be Gomfi still holding stocks, and Gomfi seems a little bit more worried about a player at bar trying to shoot at him right now because of that pre-destruction that was done at the beginning of the round.
Well, Sonic's already in a difficult spot here. I know what you're saying. Minute 30 left. What do you mean? Well, the information game right now for the Sonics is not in the best spot, and that's where things get very difficult because sometimes you just have to force things into sight, and that's exactly what they're going to try to do. Gomfi forcing himself up red, but it was already all done and dusted by the time he got halfway through that barbed wire, and eUnited all over every single angle. It didn't matter where the Sonics were coming from. They just knew that the bullets were going to find him.
Bagel certainly getting hyped up as eUnited inches closer and closer to shutting down this second map and putting it into their court to tie this up at 1-1 and send us to a third and final map to decide tonight's series, and more importantly, who's still going to be moving closer to major qualifier contention, and also importantly, who's going to be moving further away from relegation contention as well. CCTV is also where the Sonics are going to play out their first round on defense and their only round on defense for this OT.
And they too are perfect at defending this. So something's got to give. Something has to give, John. And I don't know whether it's going to be the defense of the Sonics here or the offense of eUnited on this very next round. But the thing is what site do you go to if you end up losing this? I don't even think eUnited is willing to look into what's going to go on with that for the future. They much rather just get done with this offensive round, win it if they can, and just get this map over with. This Clubhouse has been a hell in a cell with these bans for operators.
It has certainly been a very interesting matchup to watch and has led to probably some of the faster rounds we've seen played out because of attackers being forced into that type of situation and the possibilities being opened up by the bans in the first place. So made a pretty crazy series of rounds so far throughout the course of this matchup, and we're not even done with it just yet. We still have this round and potentially the last one still to go, along with our third map, which will probably promise to be pretty interesting on the ban department too.
Oh, very nice Evil Eye there from Iconic up in the corner of the garage. Very nice, very nice. You get up there by hopping on the railing that we just saw Iconic jump over, but instead you want to hop up on it towards the south side or north side, whichever side you want to run from, and then you have to sprint and jump up on top of that for people were wondering that were for people that were wondering how you get up there. So not too difficult, really good spot for a lot of utility, including Maestro's bubbles. Those things are so damn good, especially for intel and places like that.
Now he can just sit right there on catwalk and use that eye to give him all the info he needs without having to peek anytime.
This is not going to be good, John. John, hold me, John. We're going for a ride, John. Here we go. We're going in the wall, ladies and gentlemen. Ash is already in. They're flooding every single window as trades back and forth, but some nice shots from the Ash of Forest Bags, too. Not able to confirm the down, but no, Super stands up and catches a bullet to the brain, but they still need a plant here. It's a 2 versus 2 between these two. Easily with a shotgun out. Oh, no, the Therm's already down. The last one inside a garage. A nice rotate from Iconic. Bags him, too, all the way from the garage staircase, and the Sonics stay in this one, easily feeding eUnited a little bit of their own medicine.
At the question mark spam come out from eUnited on the last round, easily throws it right back at him. I love it. Interesting choice of strategy from eUnited, but I'm not against it in all honesty, even though obviously it didn't end up going their way. When you consider how stalemated those rounds had been from both sides, even when they switched their attacking and defending sides, I think that eUnited decides, let's just try like a really aggressive hold. We know we can get the wall open for sure. Let's just stack everybody on it. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work. If it does, hey, it worked this one time. It's probably not going to work again in the future, but at least we got it for this round and clutched out the map.
Very well said. That's really it. Yeah, over the last 2 rounds as well. That was kind of both of the options for them, right? The offense is super hard right now. You might as well throw something at the wall and hope it sticks, and it just wasn't that. It's definitely not rushing into that, especially for the Sonics, knowing that eUnited favors that Legion. it's not probably in your best interest to forcibly get onto site without clearing utility, especially with all those goo mines on the floor. It's just very, very difficult. You can't sprint anymore. It's hard to get out of a gunfight because you can no longer quickly adjust. It's just it's a lot of stuff. It's hell in a handbasket. You don't want to deal with that. So for eUnited, we're going to be headed downstairs, and that's going to be our very last round here, no matter what, folks. And eUnited going to be pulling the exact same setup. But here's the question, and this is the question for you guys before we get into this round. Does eUnited hold this upstairs area? If they end up holding this upstairs area, this could put a stick in the forks of of the Soniqs, because last time they saw that this was completely empty, but I don't think that they're going to be anywhere near that naive.
All right, well, let's find out how this will work for the Soniqs. We can see them going for garage control really early on here. They are going to have to deal with Yeti in that department. There's actually quite a bit of extension from eUnited upstairs in order to hold specifically, cache and CCTV right now, with Yeti going into garage and Alfama holding cache itself. But these two can move pretty much anywhere. So if they detect the hits coming closer to main stairs, yep, there we go. They're going to start rotating over. They'll quickly shotgun out the drop there if they need to fall back. And now they can focus their hold up here instead and counter out, that drop right there. Any players that are moving in through kitchen and the other main doors, if they try to go down for a main stairs clear, they can work on that. So trying to delay as much time as possible off the clock while Soniqs try to get this clear done as quickly as possible.
Oh, nice setup there from eUnited. They prepped some footholds to be able to see into construction, but since Alfama has a shotgun, he's able to make a very fast rotate into construction and down the hatch, allowing him to escape easily. Callout still holding downstairs inside of the bar area, well, mid-floor, excuse me. See how long he's going to hold on to this, because there is a lot of people coming, and Slebin with a pre-fire rips the head off a Callout. That's the opening frag they needed. Only a minute and 40 on the clock right now. That's not too much of a time waste from that roam game for eUnited. They dedicated so much utility, time, and reinforcements upstairs, and it seems that for right now, it wasn't worth very much.
So early advantage does go to the Soniqs the first time in a while. Still a minute and 20 seconds left to go here. Soniqs are starting to get drone presence in the site to clear it out. They get a little bit of a sneak preview there with that one that sneaks into church. They don't know about Alfama's position in dirt just yet. And also the Soniqs are still very, very far away from actually being in position to execute. Oh, no! I don't even know where Easley's at. He's at the main door. And he's able to find Forrest hopping through the window into CCTV and takes him out of the picture. That's another find, another roamer that's extended out just a little bit too far and will be punished by the Soniqs, leaving it all onto the anchor players for eUnited on site to try and win out this round and take them to a third map.
Apologies for the noise, but it's like Easley's in the trees. You just don't see him, and all of a sudden he's killing everyone. It's truly impressive. Truly, truly impressive. Only 38 seconds remain now, though, for the Soniqs, so needs something to give here. Needs somewhere to put a diffuser down, and that's the troublesome thing. They have plenty of kitchen control. They're working through the kitchen hallway with that sledge as well as breaching charge, but it seems the breaching charge has been destroyed. But now for the execute here. Plenty of utility still by the defense being poured in. The Soniqs have to win this one, otherwise we're going to Coastline between these two. Here comes the execute, the rush down, but no, it's actually Yeti inside of blue to get the initial kill, fragging out with his Vector. Grixer's there to help as well, but a nice shot, a quick rotate here. Oh no, Super, what have you done? He kills Gumpy, and he can't put the plant down! Super, what are you doing? Oh my God! Oh, not like that. Oh, dude, that's tough. That's real tough. You're not getting away from that one, man. I'm sorry. Nobody can save you from that.
Big spam in all caps for Alfama when that round's over, too. You guys talk too much.
Oh, unfortunate.
What an unfortunate way for the map to end for the Soniqs after taking such a huge lead early on. I believe the half was at like 5-1 or something like that as well. They unfortunately are not able to capitalize on that, and they end up dropping it in OT. eUnited take our second map 8-7, and that means, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to a third and final map to settle this series. It's turned into a bit of a grudge match now, and a lot is on the line for it. Stick with us. We're going to go to a short break. When we come back, will the analysts break down map number 2 and get us ready for the third and final map.
Welcome back. I'm Jackie Jing, and I'm with Veli and Jesse.
Why do you sound so down right now, Jackie?
I mean, that was bizarre. That was a 15-rounder, and eUnited won. And what happened? What happened to the Soniqs at the end of that map? Jesse, Veli.
I don't know. Like, nothing. It was like the map started off pretty normal, right? And then it's like you could just watch it devolve as the eUnited virus infected the host of the Soniqs, culminating in death of the Soniqs as Super Team kills his only person that can watch him plant.
I don't want to be mean,
I saw Iconic.
What happened?
Iconic is the king, but I saw him put down a breaching charge on the floor, and then he shot it with Sophia's breaching round. I am so confused, Jackie. I don't know what the hell we were just watching.
I don't know what we just watched. I mean, I have some analytical questions here, but I'm still kind of in shock by all that. But all right, let's try to get a little bit serious here. Jesse, let's talk about the Maverick and Habana band.
Yeah.
That definitely limited them to Thermite, and
yeah.
I wanted to say this had an effect on the map's pacing, but the pacing was bizarre on this map, so I don't even know.
It did. I think that's sort of like the start to all of it, right? Like, you know, when a Maverick and a Habana go, you're not going to get your standard Clubhouse, right? Things are going to get a little weird. I didn't think it was going to get this weird. You know, when we got a Blackbeard, that was about as weird as I thought it was going to get.
Yeah.
But I think that really did force a lot of gunfights. It forced a lot of just running in through one or two angles, and you saw it, like, again, devolve into really just, like, people are rushing into doorways, and they're fragging out, and it's kind of a coin flip.
Speaking of weird ops, I will say this.
I was just going to ask you.
I will say this. eUnited won either way once Forrest picked Cav. When I saw Caviera running around the map and almost getting 4 kills to win the round, I said, even if they lose, they won in my heart. I don't care. And they won the map. I don't know. I think that pick is what boosted them because nothing else makes sense.
Yeah. I mean, we have statistics up right now, and Slevin got 18 kills. And they lost.
Doesn't matter.
Yeah. I mean, I wanted to talk about how exceptional his performance was, but I mean, it really didn't matter. I mean, okay, Veli, I know that you said you love the potential here. Slevin looked really strong, and then, I mean, things went completely off the rails in the last 3 rounds.
I don't know if y'all heard that. It sounded like either a gunshot or a firework. No, Slevin played amazing, and you know what?
We did hear it. Yeah.
Right? They shooting. I don't know if Soniqs purposely did all. I was gonna make a joke about they lost all those rounds to pad his stats, and I honestly feel like they're going to map 3 to do that. No, but honestly, I saw one of the best versions of Slevin out there, especially when they were on defense. My favorite was when he went from master bedroom to bathroom, threw that bathroom rotation hole towards that hallway, and picked up a double kill. I mean, his aggression is incomparable to anything else that we've seen today. I really love Slevin, and Jesse and I were talking about just the duo, the roaming duo of Iconic and Slevin. It's funny because they play pretty similar. Both are heavily aggressive, and they finish their kills. Let them build chemistry. This is their first official game together. It's gonna be poetry in motion. I can't wait.
Jesse, let's bring your big brain in here. Did eUnited just capitalize off of chaos there at the end, or I mean, is there any reason to that madness? I don't know.
I mean, I think eUnited, they've got a play style, you know, they know what works for them, and they took advantage of that to the best of their ability. I do think it was a lot of Soniqs kind of letting it get to them. Yeah. It felt like, you know, eUnited brought some to the table, and the Soniqs should have just said no, but they started to eat it, and that it was all over as soon as they took the first bite. I thought Forrest was a good player for eUnited for sure. He kind of started a lot of the chaos, right? A lot of those strange operators, and I think had a couple of good rounds as well, like where he seriously did have a really big impact. So he was big for eUnited, but really it was just eUnited kind of making this a strange map.
They took it.
strange map is one way to put it. So Belly and I were like the Sonics. Like, you know, we're vibing with them. I don't know, Belly. I don't know.
I don't know either. Like, life is a question mark right now. Like, what do you even believe anymore?
I don't know. Are you gonna stick with them?
Hell no. Just because they lost that, I'm gonna be completely honest. I thought I was gonna get an early night of sleep today. Sonics ruined all of that. So because of that, I'm rocking with eUnited. You know, we're going for the win, baby. Let's go.
Oh man, Jesse, Big Brain, you might have done it again. I'm assuming you're sticking with your pick.
No, I just watched that map and my brain is gone. So I'm gonna actually go to the Sonics because there's no way that works twice. There's no way that works twice.
Oh my goodness. Okay. Well, you can tell that we're all just completely in shock here.
Yeah.
I got nothing to say. Let's just get to map 3 and see how this goes. All right. We'll be right back. We'll be right back.
And welcome back once again, ladies and gentlemen, to the U.S. division of the North American League. We are getting ourselves ready to jump onto Coastline for what's been a very interesting series so far between eUnited and the Sonics.
You already have me laughing when you said interesting. Like, the word interesting to commentators can mean so many different things. So many different things, but for this, I would definitely agree that it is interesting, and interesting in the fact that the Sonics could not find any way to win that last map when they were up by 4 rounds after getting off of their defense. 5-1 split after their defense, and we're not able to close things out. Now we're here on Coastline. We have to settle things, and truly, I still think it's going to go the Sonics' way. We have some turncoats on the analyst table. They just want to flip-flop everywhere, but I'm not going away from it. I think the Sonics have it, but it's scary when it comes down to it. Coastline is a map where everything that is unorthodox works. We're talking about a map that doesn't even require hard breach, folks. There's anything that could possibly happen on this map, and I think that this is possibly the catalyst that eUnited needs to win this best of 3.
All right, well, let's find out if that's going to be true. We're getting into the map now, ladies and gentlemen, with the bans coming out. Coastline should be pretty interesting, as it's a map that plays pretty differently when compared to the other 6 in the pool. Capital is going to be our first attacking operator getting banned out. We've seen the Sonics use that pretty much universally on a lot of their attacks, especially coming off the previous map, and there's no reason why they wouldn't use it on this one. So we'll see that taken out first, followed up quickly by a Thatcher ban coming from the Sonics.
I really, really like the Thatcher ban, just because of how good Thatcher is, and I think that that's told by his defensive ban, or his ban rate right now, which is 70%. Thatcher's banned at 70%. He's the most banned and picked operator. So it's truly impressive what you can do with no Thatcher on the board, especially for the defense. You're a lot safer in many regards. But some fun facts for you guys as we jump into Coastline. This is actually only the second time that we've seen Coastline inside of the NAL. And along with that comes some very interesting stats. Double bar, Blue and Sunrise bar, has been won twice. It has a 100% defensive win rate, as well as Penthouse and Theater, which is something we could possibly see because we do not have a mirror ban.
All right, let's get into it. We're going to be going to the usual site to start things off. Take a look at the operator lineup here as well and see where exactly things are going to go. It should be interesting to see Jackal coming into the pool here because we'll more than likely see him used, I would say, pretty often. Oh, there we go. A Lion pick coming in the 6th pick as well for Super, switching off from the Ying. So already these operator lineups are going to continue to develop themselves and get even more interesting than we were seeing in the last map here. They're going to have a Lion coming into play on Super, not an operator that we see picked too often, along with Sleben on the Jackal, meaning that eUnited's roam game is going to have a tough time on this round.
Yeah, I'm throwing it back to last season. If I'm not wrong, again, this I might be wrong on this one, but this is from memory. Lion is an operator that was used a lot by EU on this map, and Lion's an operator that gets used by a lot of teams on this map just because of the amount of soft destruction and how aggressive you actually have to be to get onto site in Coastline. Having Lion's utility helps you out a lot. Granted, it's not as information based as it used to be. It still gets you really good intel, but not nearly as what it was. Well, we are gonna have Alfama reinforced with extremely long Mr. Fantastic arms, so that was the thing. But besides that, we are gonna have a lot of intel on this offense. I want to see how the Soniqs do with Lion, just because this is one of those maps where we actually see this operator played quite often.
All right, getting ourselves past that point and continuing to see what the Soniqs are going to try and do here. Like I said, we've already got Sleben messing around a little bit over there, I believe, towards the balcony downstairs, trying to look for access in through push by Kitchen. He'll be able to do that, and he'll be supported by Super's drone here. Got himself a nice scan here. That's going to be able to find out the Moz. He tries to go for a little bit of pre-fire, but is way too out of date on that one, unfortunately, so not going to be able to meet much with it. United in general are slowly being tracked back onto their site, Yeti being very cautious about his positioning as he moves further and further down the line.
Well, for the eUnited defense, things working out so far. Lots of nitro cells brought from them. We actually have 3 lined up that are going to be up for use. Good info denial as well with that Mute Mozzie combo coming in. So the Soniqs right now need to find how to get onto site. Usually you're going to be seeing a VIP take or an Aqua take depending on the team and how they want to handle things, but traditionally it is going to be that Aqua take. For now, those Soniqs are looking for picks. They have Iconic underneath. Very good spot for him to be, especially with this Mira in play. Not going to be able to bag himself anything, though. Very safe positioning here from eUnited to waste as much time as possible. It seems that for the Soniqs, they want to take Hookah here, and they already have the pick needed. They've gotten rid of the Vase player, yet he's going to have to step up to try and handle anything unless they have some bullet holes inside of that soft destruction. Already working their way up Vibe stairs, though, as the rest of the eUnited roster are working their way towards Vase. Oh, but it's going to be a very nice smoke put down. Oh, this could be a huge swing in the tide. EU coming back alive, specifically Alfama as the Mira who rotated downstairs, and eUnited retakes onto site, takes control of Vase again, and the Soniqs are stuck dead in the water. Diffuser upstairs. It's all left up to Super with only 1 EE1D left, and I don't see him getting very far.
Now, unfortunately, not eUnited with a solid mid-round defense effort. More than likely is going to be enough to pull them through. The Soniqs, unfortunately, just not enough of that to be able to push them into a winning position for this round. Although Super's certainly going to try his best. The last EE1D charge going out, but he's just going to get jumped on by Yeti as he's finished off, and we'll see eUnited claim the first round of our third map.
This might be really bad. Like, really, really bad. Coming off of that last map and, well, the way that the map finished and how things were throughout the map, intensity-wise between the two teams, and, you know, the trash talk that we now enjoy inside of the NAO with everyone ringing up all chat, this might be bad for the Soniqs. It might be, because if you truly think about it, going into the end of that last game to have it finish the way that it did, that is really bad for a team's psyche, depending on the team. Again, we don't know how this team plays just because this is the first time that we're seeing the full Soniqs lineup together. So we'll see if that emotional wear can possibly do something inside of their play. I'm not going to talk, you know, oh, if they lose Coastline, it's all because Super did something. That's not it at all. But obviously, it can play into what's the possible outcome. I don't want to see the Soniqs completely fall apart because of how Clubhouse ended.
Certainly not the case. This is where I was a little bit worried for eUnited specifically was the fact that they weren't going to be able to get past Clubhouse due to Soniqs' own improvements that they made on it. But unfortunately, those improvements were not made on the attacking side. And as you said, to lose a map in the fashion that they did, and now to go to a very open-ended map, in my opinion, like Coastline here. A lot of C maps. Sorry, my brain a little confused there.
All good.
Then that could lead into a very bad situation for the Soniqs. I feel like eUnited's really going to thrive, especially with a defensive start on this type of map. And that could lead to some very, very bad things, and potentially a very one-sided scoreline if Soniqs don't wake up quickly.
Well, yeah, and that's the craziest thing, is that for a very long time, I've called Coastline a teeter-totter. I really think it is that map that it completely depends on the teams and what they can possibly do, the ways that they execute on the map, determining how it's going to be either offense or defensive-sided. But for this season, through that one play day, it was 75% towards the defense, which says a lot for that meta once again and what's been going on. Very nice refrag here from Forest to take down Iconic, but not before Yeti's gone, and that's actually going to be a pretty equal trade. Granted, Yeti more than likely still had a Nitro Cell to expend, but getting Iconic off the field is a huge, huge impact.
Yeti's loss is regrettable, but like you said, its utility has already, for the most part, been deployed by him, so not a massive loss in that department. Now it's time to see if the Soniqs, more importantly, are going to be able to carry this forward into an actual amount of map control, which is where issues will more than likely start to develop for them. Taking a look at some of the Soniqs players and seeing where they are, still very early days in their actual take here, using a lot of drone intel to get the job done. Slebin, this time going to be on the Jackal, trying to push his way in potentially to Sunrise here. Forrest gets himself into a perfect position just before that EE1D charge just goes off and can now hold the close corner if we do indeed see those members from Soniqs that were just outside the door a few seconds ago try to push in. It seems as though that's not going to be the case. They moved in upstairs and are potentially going to swarm down, which, you know, still leaves the question of where Forrest is going to come into the picture here. Remember, he's sitting in that corner, but it seems as though they did drone him out or get intel as to his position as easily as going to take him out, and unfortunately Forrest himself will not be able to find anything. Grixer has some better luck, but also has some unlucky things happen to him there as he gets caught on that little part of the wall. He's not able to walk through it, and as a result of that is picked off by the Soniqs.
Oh, this is very troublesome. Easily has the diffuser as well. Super, a great rotation to service entrance. Now it's all left up to Alfama, but the trouble is that he's Mira. That's a 3-speed. You don't have very much movement, and it's not going to matter if Slebin puts a bullet in your head as he tries to rotate for B1. Slebin, quick kill for him from couches inside of Pink Bar. So overall, very nice round there from the Soniqs. Good adjustment. It was almost very, very bad for them, actually, when it came down to the execute. They didn't have very many drones left, and that was all more than likely accounted for due to the mute jammers and what have you, but they had quite a few destroyed and 2 in use as well. So that points all signs to those being at a mute jammer. So that limited utility makes it to where the Soniqs have to try for something, go for broke, and ends up working out in the end. They were practically gifted kitchen control, so would have either way been a very easy plant for Easily if he would have just went for it off the bat.
Another double bar round, excuse me, going to be coming up here for eUnited as they try to put themselves into a leading position once again. Take a look at the operator line. Things are going to be looking pretty similar for the most part to what we've already seen out of United. No new flare or anything like that coming out. Yeti, of course, still bringing the Legion into the picture. Probably the most picks on Legion that we have seen so far as of yet, especially when you consider any other team's picks here in the North American League. They, by far, have the largest pick rate on this operator at the moment. So we're going to bring that into the picture once again. You can see Grix already setting up some pre-positioned shotgun shots here as well to open up top-down play later on in the round. And besides that, just your usual utility going onto the ground at this point. Alfama to set himself up for some play inside of Kitchen, but that's already been revealed by a drone that's sitting on the left side of the room in the metal cabinets directly behind Alfama. So they already know that that setup is there.
eUnited, a wide berth right now, as we can see. Quite a bit of area taken up by them, but Alfama's all alone inside of Kitchen, and this could possibly be a very terrible move here, as it seems that the Soniqs want to prioritize this. He has lines of sight through Keg Wall as well, but that could be his demise, because that sees all the way to the main lobby door. Not very much safe harbor here for him. EE1D goes off, and that's a free kill for Gomfi as he just walks in Kitchen and takes it. They have full Kitchen control now. eUnited gonna have to deal with it.
First minute gone from the round, like you said. Alfama being isolated out very early on. He got spotted in the drone phase there, so Sonic's able to capitalize upon that, find the opening kill. Now set themselves up, hopefully, for some future success here. We've got still quite a few members of eUnited spread out across the map, most notably still with upstairs presence as well. So the Sonics can't really commit themselves anywhere just as of yet. They'll have to be happy with that earlier kill they got onto the Mira. They still have to do some work in clearing out players like Fallout and Forest, who are going to be holding cool vibes and the inside of Billiards here. Try and delay the actual hit.
We'll see how well they do. Forrest shifted his sights towards the kitchen door to hold across with Yeti, so more than likely not going to see any Sonics members rush there for now. ADS is saving Grixer in behind the Sunrise bar, but oh no, actually caught off guard by the shotgun. Grixer ready for the hop, and all of eUnited seem to be ready as Callout finds one of his own. Toxic Babe's in, but Easley's already inside of the barbed wire, more than likely heard. Has he been down? No, Grixer's still alive and well, firing away, but Easley somehow fights his way through it. The toxic smoke cannot stop him at all, but finally Callout can. Forrest has been downed as well, so it's up to Super, the captain again, to bring this back up against Callout. Callout's upstairs as well, so Super can possibly get a free plant here. It's all up to them to know if Forrest is down or not. I don't know if they have that intel. Super could possibly rotate outside as well to get him. Oh, excuse me, actually, wrong teams there. My bad. Forrest is down for EU. Don't know exactly how I put that one together, but down to the 1v1 for these two. Doesn't see him behind the blue bar, but sees him escape. Now he knows where that diffuser is, but he has to keep a bead on Super. This is where some problems can possibly ensue. Nice. With no intel, like Super more than likely ends up winning this round because he can safely rotate all the way to Lounge.
He's going to try and work himself all the way around it here now. Callout running blind, trying to figure out exactly where Super has positioned himself. And just as you mentioned, Stokes, Super going all the way around the donut right now, trying to find himself an easy angle to deny the counter defuse from Callout. Should be getting close to it, so we'll have to see Super line up the angle pretty quickly, and thankfully he's going to do just that. Instant headshot onto Callout to eliminate him. Sonics take the third round and the lead along with it, as they now have a scoreline of 2-1 over their opponents in eUnited. Things certainly looking a little bit better for the Sonics, and looking like hopefully they didn't get completely crushed by that very unfortunate final round loss back on Clubhouse.
That's the reset that you really need, especially from the team captain there. Super knows what happens at the end of that game last time. He's no fool. He definitely knows what happened and knows that that can possibly lead to some bad things. So having him clutch up that round is paramount. It's really, really good for their success if they end up winning this. I could possibly see that being the turning point here, bringing things back to hopefully help them out in that category. But for eUnited, overall round, it was just very, very rough. The gunfights were not coming through from them. The early setup as well inside of kitchen, I'm going to be blatantly honest with you. It's just a bad setup. It's just a bad setup. It's not made for what they're trying to do with it. You can't just have Alfama stand inside of that kitchen and have him get approached from 3 separate angles. You're just putting a fish inside of a barrel and saying, hey, shoot it.
So just a couple seconds left here on the prep phase for eUnited. Putting the final touches on things. Alfama going to try to set up what could be a bit of an extended hold again. He's already put one of his mirror windows down, and the second one is going to go down to hopefully allow Forrest to play inside of Feeder, of all things, which should be pretty interesting. Alfama actually might just play it himself here. We'll get the updated information on that over the next couple seconds. Yeah, early hold here, potentially some denial onto the drop down into the master bathroom, as well as if anybody wants to go in from big window here. So some play to be done from there if that opportunity presents itself.
Well, they're still going to have Alfama on the Mira, and they'll have him set up over in Penthouse where we saw him the last time on this site. It actually ended up working out really, really well. It had some late rotations that really paid off, especially able to rotate all the way to the bottom kitchen area. So we'll see if he's quite as successful as he won. I definitely like this Mira setup more than the other one, but it seems that the Sonics are aware of the situation and want to try and deal with Alfama first. Very, very hard to take those gunfights on those windows, but Alfama seems ready. Moves back towards the mirror, but Gompy's already gotten his kill. That's a nice opener for them. That takes out the smoke. What? Grixer? My friend, what are you doing? You're one of the most important operators in the game, and you just threw 3 toxic babes on the ground. Oh no, very unfortunate for EU. That's a lot of utility burned.
The utility gone by the wayside here from eUnited, and that certainly tends to swing things further into the favor of the Sonics. We'll see easily try to swing himself onto the outside of the hookah doorway here. No commitment just as of yet. going to work his drone up to the inside to try and see what the setup is looking like. And actually, things are finding themselves to be pretty much open for the taking right now. But Soniqs know that that's certainly not the case. We'll never see the direct hold on the inside of the site. What is that drop right there from Forrest? And he dies to it. Iconic's going to pick up the kill there instead. Super as well finds another one. Alfama on the rotate back to site. Does catch the trade on easily, which is also going to drop the diffuser. But Super has the counter angle to take him right back out by the window inside of Hookah, leaving just Callout alive in the 1 versus 4. Callout already going to find himself a challenge here too, and Iconic swinging on the ropes is going to finish things off. Soniqs take round number 4. This attacking side certainly favoring them a lot better than Clubhouse, as they now lead 3-1.
Thought he had him on the ropes, but the ropes actually had him, John. Never would have guessed it. But the Soniqs very good offenses here. I like how they're toying with eUnited when it comes to these extended setups that they have, especially with that mirror setup crossed inside of Penthouse. Showed face there with just one singular person, and it seemed that eUnited were ready. They're like, okay, they're going for the full map clear this time. They're going to want VIP control. This setup is what it's for. We want to make sure that they can't cleanly push through Penthouse. There's something stopping them. They can't take full top control. They didn't even need it. That's the troublesome part right there. They didn't need it at all. All of the actual action happened near Vibes and Hookah, and they killed practically everyone. As you stated, Forrest hopping over the potted I don't even know really what to call it. The hop over for Vibes, I guess. A
little portal there.
What do we call it? Bush jump?
Portal.
Bush jump,
like
I guess.
That.
So
I like portal better.
I'll call it portal. I'm down. Yeah.
Yeah. The little portal to downstairs.
Yeah, a little portal. Anyways, Forrest took a portal right to his death and ended up missing a very, very important shot on a man that had a frag grenade in his hand. But the thing is about that is, I will bring up this point. If he did kill the sledge, everyone there more than likely dies. Like, everybody on that staircase is just like exploded. It's over. Everyone's dead.
So props to Iconic to have the quick wits to spot that as he's moving up the stairs, and more importantly punish that as well, as the drop down is happening. Prevents a very unfortunate turn of events, as you had mentioned, Stokes. And now allows, more importantly, for Soniqs to take control of the lead and keep it that way, seeming to grow ever more here. Back over to the Hookah defense, though. This is where eUnited came out with a win, if my memory serves me correctly. And they were going to look to try and do that at least one more time to put the scoreline at 3-2 before we enter that final round coming up right after this.
It's nice to be see Super be playing this well, especially after what happened on that last map again. So 4-0-1 right now, just playing his role to a T. He doesn't need to do anything more, and he doesn't need to do anything less. Just, holding those angles, getting those plants down. That's exactly what you want him for, and he's doing a bang-up job of it so far. So we'll see how round 5 goes and keep you updated on that. But for now, it's the Soniqs onto the drones. Got to find somewhere to start, and for them, it's going to be downstairs again as Iconic clears out all of Sunrise. Now has a possibility to push up Vibes again. We'll see if it's the same story.
Going to see the Ash Charge work its way in. It's going to deal a little bit of floor destruction here, hopefully opening up an avenue for Super to set himself up again to get aggressive too. Same as the last one, we're not seeing a whole lot of United contested happening on site. Easily, though, going to take a pretty big risk here. Must have some info on the Forest, and certainly does. Walks right up. I think he caught him like mid-reload as well. And now going to try to see if he can get a second one through the rotate hole that had been set up on the right side of Hookah. Going to be a little bit hard to accomplish, as we'll have the gas grenade get into the way. Alfama will move close to the rotate and punish that by taking out easily. Yeti also picking up one more there for himself as well. Beyond that, though, things end up going down to a 2v2, but one of the members of eUnited is down. That's Alfama on the ground. Yeti's only just under 25 HP. Gonna have to try and hold off this 2v1. Has the lineup, but the aim is just slightly too low. And as a result of that, Iconic and Slevin gonna clean up those last 2 kills there and pick up yet another round for the Soniqs.
Fantastic round there from the Soniqs, and honestly, not that complex at all. Their main game plan was, okay, get Sunrise control, let's burn out Hookah. They burned out all of the ADSs, got rid of all of the Wamai discs very early on, which, if you guys, again, aren't regular viewers, that's good. That's a very, very good thing to do with Wamai, because he gets those discs over time. So if you burn them really early into the round and try to do something aggressive, he's more than likely not going to have an exemplary amount of discs to stop you from doing so. He might stop one extra piece of utility that you weren't accounting for, but that's not really going to be the game changer inside of those instances when it really, really comes down to it. So for the Soniqs, keeping it simple, keeping it plain, using their utility properly. What else could you want from this squad that's doing it so well on offense right now and really shifting the tides when it comes to Coastline's defensive win rate?
we go down to a 4-1 scoreline here into the kitchen for the final round of the defensive half from eUnited, where they have to hope they can piece something together here to try and make this a more palatable scoreline. I say that, but at the same time, they were up against the wall with the very same scoreline on the last map and still managed to come out with the victory there. So maybe they're not so worried after all when you consider the storyline leading up to this very map. At the same time, though, these rounds are looking very, very dominant right now from the Sonics, and they're coming from the attacker's perspective. So I'm not so certain that the same situation holds the same results here for eUnited if they're going to be able to come back on the second half.
And that's the hardest thing, is that Coastline's a very unpredictable place. I always call it the jungle gym for fraggers. It's literally like the ranked paradise. You don't need hard destruction. You don't need anything. You just take gunfights and play it like TDM, and eventually someone dies. And that's really it. So we've actually seen quite a few plants that I didn't see happening between these two squads, especially after how, again, the things that ended last time. I thought we were going to be much more aggressive and everybody was just going to be at each other's throats, but it's been much more coordinated, on the Sonic side. eUnited not really showing up in that category just yet, not saying that they can't, but for right now, things seem a little desperate. They've already switched over to the ACOG brothers, Doc and Rook on the field, adding long distance to their arsenal here, as well as having Callout jump onto the Ella, so they'd rather bring her to the Legion for their trap-based operator. Hopefully this goes better, especially with Callout more than likely set up in someplace close range where you can assist with that Scorpion, but things already starting off very dreadful.
E1D is going to trigger out onto some of the defenders here as they're caught rotating Forest way off site though, so he should have no trouble repositioning. Him getting pinged hopefully won't end up being a big deal against him, but he does have to play passively now as a result of that, just in case, as it doesn't seem like they have a great lock on the intel as we're in terms of where Sonics are currently trying to push from. Speaking of which, we do have Slevin working his way in from Sunrise, going to quickly take care of these extra softwall reinforcements so he can see out into the hallway and hopefully have a better picture of his target. He's more likely going to try to scan out here over the next couple seconds if he can.
Yeah, and this is once again where the roamers for eUnited need to come alive. The only successful roaming we've really been seeing is the rotations back from Alfama, but he's already dead, and Yeti's soon to follow as well. Iconic racking up heads here, 6-0-4 on the game so far, but that's a double for him, or at least a single for him inside of the round. Finally, someone fires back. Forest tagging one of his own onto Super. That's the Lion down now. No more EE1Ds to worry about, so should be, well, easier than it used to be when it comes to trying to win out on this defensive round so far. So concussions in, already have the Maestro prone, but a nice shot from Easily as he takes over the site by himself. It's all left up to Callout now. Plenty of bullets inside of the Scorpion, but this thing can be squirrely at times. Inside of these close distance gunfights though, not gonna work out. He takes a long one. It's Iconic all the way from entrance, or excuse me, service entrance towards the lobby. Very nice round from the Sonics overall. Great entries.
We're just gonna bring this point back once again, especially for those last couple rounds of the half there. Sonics fragging power, unfortunately, just no match for what eUnited was bringing to the table. Sonics executes alone were, very rarely being challenged properly by eUnited, and as a result of that, just like in that last round, they're able to follow it through with a sequence of frags and just cut down the members of EU one by one. Now we need to see if eUnited can try to bring the same thing to the table, and more importantly, fend off what's more than likely going to be some aggressive openers here from the Sonics, given they've got this type of advantage to work with again, and now they're jumping onto the defensive side for the second half.
The troublesome thing is, though, I think 5-1 is cursed now. I don't know. 5-1 was the last
for them.
Yeah, 5-1 was the last split we had on Clubhouse before everything went wrong, and it went in almost the exact same fashion. But the Sonics started on defense the last time, so maybe all they need to do is start on offense. And that was it. So shifting gears over to the defense for the Sonics now. Still going to be bringing the Mira. I want to see how they apply this to double bar. We've seen it done a couple of different ways, but usually it's over towards the couches area facing into blue. Castle barricades as well. Liking the setup here from the Sonics. Nothing really strange over towards kitchen. It looks like they might be setting up that Mira as well over here. I want to see how they hold this in comparison to eUnited, though. They do have it on what seems to be the other side of the reinforcement in comparison to what eUnited had, as well as they're going to have a castle barricade. I didn't see that there the last time unless I'm legally blind. So a little bit of a different setup here for the Sonics. I don't think they're going to have to worry about nearly as much heat as, the Sonics put onto eUnited in this setup either, but As immediately after I say that, it's a pre-fire through the front door for Forest, right through the soft keg wall and into the dome of Gomfy. So no one playing kitchen. Slevin's going to have to rotate. That's the troublesome thing about this area, man. That keg wall, I'm telling you, you're not safe. You're not safe.
Not going to be safe at all to play off of that one. We can see Slevin pushed into a corner here too, but still seeming pretty confident about his position inside of that corner and what he can accomplish from it. Should note that eUnited, as we take a look at them, are still, for the most part, not even in the building yet. Still analyzing their options, figuring out where exactly to take this. But that's no sign for concern as of yet. This is Siege after all. Time oftentimes ends up being a little bit deceiving about how much is left and how much the attackers actually need to get themselves to a site. Yeti going to bring the Lion out for this one too, and we'll see one of those EE1D charges used promptly so that he can move in along with the rest of his teammates and start committing to the second floor clear. Now, if you've seen the setup from the Soniqs, you'll realize that obviously that's not going to be too much of a task. There's very little defense here at all. It's when they start moving downstairs that things become problematic, and whether eUnited has realized the breadth of this downstairs hold is going to largely impact how successful their transition to the first floor will probably be over the next 30 seconds.
Well, Super holding down the bottom of Vibes now. Some good setups here. Easily taking a little bit of damage, but nothing to call home about just yet. United seem to want to get through this one with a quicker pace, as it is Coastline, but they're doing a bang-up job of taking the upstairs. Still need some soft destruction to make things a little bit difficult for the defense. And that's exactly what they're going to do. Take out that wall, make Bar almost unplayable unless you're able to access it from the opposite side, but the Sonic still holds strong.
Easily still going to put himself in the corner here as well, waiting for a potential push from the pool door, but we're not going to see it. Still have eUnited with all their presence for the most part upstairs, still trying to transition down to the first floor, and they've now got less than a minute to do it. Second EE1D charge going to come out from Yeti. Yeti being very cautious of a wrap from main stairs, but Slevin's nowhere near that. Slevin himself thinks that the push was going to come down main stairs in that very second, so tried to go for a little bit of pre-fire, but obviously didn't come out with much from that. Soniqs barely being challenged besides the elimination of Gomfy here. Still sitting nice and cautious, just waiting for eUnited to drop down. What's the plan from eUnited? At least one player tries to go in. That's Yeti first off, but he dies. Grixer has some better success, as does Alfama. Things moving in late towards the pool door here, and Forrest dropping down to catch Slevin's back as well. Massive finds from eUnited, and it's enough to net them the round as they take the opener in the second half.
I'm getting flashbacks. I'm getting this vibe that things are not going to go the way that we think. And that's a good way to start it for EU. Their offense is now looking better, which is a strange thing to say because we were just talking earlier about how eUnited seems so lost on their offenses. But apparently when it comes to Coastline, they're pretty good at it. I'm going to be honest. I really liked the adjustment from Forrest there. Very creative to hop up over that to make it to where no one could hear his foot actually like scrape across it when you vault over. Because when you actually vault over something as opposed to just sprinting up onto something, there's actually an audible like cue made that people are used to hearing. So good way to shake things up and make it difficult for the Soniqs to know exactly what he was doing. And that's what won eUnited the round, was Forrest simply dropping into courtyard at the right time. That's when those rat tactics actually work.
Bomb located by attackers.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, moving ourselves quickly into round number 8 here. We'll see how exactly eUnited are going to try and round things back under their control. Very slow lead up to the execute in that last round, in my opinion there too. I was getting like really worried as we got down to the low time situation about how exactly eUnited were going to approach that. Once again, that's one of the things with Siege there. It's very, what's the word I'm looking for here? Very misleading, very misleading about how certain situations look. It's more like during that time, eUnited still was on drones, gathering a lot of intel, calling out positions, getting all those players ready to drop. And then finally, when they do go for it, things end up being pretty successful for them. So nice job from eUnited on setting that up for themselves. We've seen quite a bit of that from the Soniqs tonight too. So varying degrees of success in those execute avenues from both teams.
I'd still say for the most part that they've been positive, but we've seen a couple of rounds that just go completely haywire, and it's definitely worth that reset. And that's been kind of the tale of the tape of this series as well, is that almost every single time there's an error made and somebody ends up either getting team killed or, you know, a diffuser's put somewhere incorrectly. It's just hasn't been the best for both of these teams, but it seems to still go into the favor of that offense. But I like what you were saying about the game being very, misleading when it comes to things. And I honestly think that Siege is one of the most finicky games when it comes to knowing how things are going to go inside of a round, because it's completely based upon not only what they're bringing, but what's banned, what the setup is. Even one reinforcement being in a different spot completely changes everything and what you're going to need, the sight lines you want, all of it. So that's the beauty of Siege, though, is that it has massive replayability because of that factor. It just sometimes gets kind of annoying when it comes to stuff like that. Drones in for eUnited, though, is it's going to be a solo push for the time being through Aqua. Drones through luggage, catch Iconic top stairs, but not going to peek anything into luggage. It's actually going to be Forrest that moves his way up through, but he's got some barbed wire to punch through first as Iconic shifts himself towards 90.
Forrest now just in position, kind of waiting for his chance to strike. Also waiting for Yeti to get in position here too. Alfama tries to take a duel, and Yeti gets into position to trade it, as unfortunately his teammate will lose the initial contact, but he does have Gomfe locked down easily, though. Is just going to add one more for his team's counter here, as he's able to take another one out. Sleben now goes 2 on this round. Oh, great find from Forrest. Great intel as well. Able to instantly lock onto Iconic there, take him out of the picture. Now we're going to see Sleben fall back. A little bit of first aid is needed there for Easily, so we're going to bring him back up to near full HP.
Doc is usually a pick that we talk about and go, oh, they're going to get aggressive. They want the ACOG, they want this, they want that. But we really never talk about the implications of Doc and what he can possibly bring to the game. And, well, it's that right there. You're able to heal up your teammates and make these gunfights a little easier. Or your team can be more aggressive. You can heal them because of that. Well, eUnited and the rest of their roster are poised outside of the kitchen door. They just need to execute here, but Easily's already been docked back up. He still have 2 toxic babes, and they still have Sleben, who still has a stim on his person, so he could possibly dock himself up, overheal, and try to get this kill. Oh, a very aggressive take from Easily. My God, he rips him with the SMG-11. It's up to Forrest. He gets aggressive, but Sleben magnums him down. What a round from the Soniqs, and what a very inconsiderate way to say Magnum by Stokes.
All right, so we'll see the Soniqs come out on top of that one, rebounding pretty quickly from the first initial L they took on the first round of this half, but now they're going to be in a good position to try and shut it down, as they will take that 6th point. And now be only one more away. Our opponents here from eUnited now have to run 5 in a row if they want to try and bring this back into OT. With that said, they've done it once already. There's no reason why they wouldn't be able to do it again, especially when you consider they've already won that first round on this half. Now we just need to try and bring things back into their quarter a little bit more and make sure they keep it that way and not let the Soniqs pick up another round here. We'll have 1-6 pick be brought out for Easily. He's going to switch from the Maestro over to the Warden, which is always a fun operator to see.
Yeah, I love his glasses. His glasses are pretty cool. They make it where you can see through smoke and, see through stun grenades. He was designed for when Ying and Glaz were literally insane, and then they, nerfed them, and then Warden came out, and everyone said, "Why is Warden here? I don't get why he's here."
It's like, well,
if you would have released him a year ago,
he was going to be really useful, but
man, unfortunate, man. If they would have literally released him like a year before that.
Yeah. So Easily going to be playing on to the man in the suit. Wish we had more operators in suits.
As long as I got my suit and tie.
Feels like we're playing like Payday almost when you bring him in.
They need to make him a Payday mask. That'd be a very, very cool addition to the game. That'd be insane. Cool. I would love that. I can't remember the names. I haven't played Payday in so long. Amazing game. Amazing game.
They got like a Dallas skin or something like that.
Yes. Yeah. There's so many creative masks in that game as well, speaking of such. But, Vigil would be another good one as well. Make him a Payday mask. You make it a whole thing.
Yeah, make a crossover.
Ubisoft, if you're listening, you're welcome. Okay.
We're giving you great ideas, Ubisoft. Hit us up in the email anytime.
There you go.
If you want to talk.
Yeah, that and the echo fix. You can write my name. You just put my name directly on the drums. But we're 30 seconds into the round already between these two, and this could possibly be the last round between the Soniqs and eUnited. Soniqs once again on defense. If you guys are jumping back into this or listening to this audibly, know a couple of you guys that listen to this at work, and we still love you and make sure that you want to know what is going on inside of the round. So for now, Soniqs just sitting, not too much to be done. They do have a couple of aggressive areas. Sleben playing inside of Aqua with not too much utility, but it's Sleben, so he's more than likely going to win an insane gunfight here if he does get one. EE1D goes off, but Yeti has his hands in his pockets. Apparently he's worried about anyone peeking him from luggage, and that's exactly what he's worried about, and he should be, because it's easily all the way across. Is he going to drop the GN again? It looked like he wanted to. Gets shot again, but very, very awkward adjustment there from him. Actually gets him tagged as he adjusts towards the top of white stairs. Ends up dying because of that one. Oh, secondary shotgun out, but Slebin, what a flick. Flicks around, removes Force from the game. Sit on the bench, my friend. And it's all of a sudden man advantage in favor of the Sonics.
The Sonics now with a 3v2 probably going to play this, I would imagine, very carefully from this point forward, given that they can end the map here. They definitely don't want to try and extend this map any further than they have to, considering what just happened back on Clubhouse. So indeed, we are going to see them take a pretty passive foot for the rest of this round. Iconic chucks out, I think we saw him chuck out one of his gas grenades right there, but he's also going to pop it so that he can go for a little bit of a peek here. Vern's going to swing right by him, though. He'll see that, of course, and take it out, but his position is still revealed, so he'll now have to play back behind that barricade, since he'll have to try and trick off the drone intel that was just given over by his opponents. Time's getting low enough to, if you're wondering why he randomly used that gas grenade, by the way, time's getting low enough to where he can use them and have relatively little consequence to that, because more than likely the time on the round is going to go down before it becomes relevant for him to use that other one, so that may have been why we saw him throw that earlier one off right
super Jesus. Smoke is a operator where you can get very creative with his utility because it can break lines of sight and other things. Granted, it's a lot more see-through than the smoke we're used to seeing inside of video games, but that's besides the point. Only 20 seconds remain for eUnited to get this offense to go. They need a plant here. They need something, a scrap of life, a scrap of hope. They have the repel. Grixer are going to have to hold down a lot of angles here, and by a lot, I mean a lot, but Grixer swinging in. This is so troublesome because of the man playing in guitar. Iconic wins it out with the shotgun. Why? Grixer, no, not the swing. More than likely had to deal with the Mira, I'm going to guess, but just very awkward play there from Grixer. I don't see exactly how that goes into a positive way with 3 men still up on the defense, but that's all she wrote, folks. That's going to be a 7-2 between these two on Coastline. A great series, and the Sonics winning it out.
Yeah, easily, and Slevin leading the scoreboard there for their team with 12-6 and 10-4 respectively. Some great performances from them, and overall a really impressive and very decisive rebound from the Sonics, given the very unfortunate way that they closed out Clubhouse. Not letting that loss get in the way of them whatsoever. They come back and dominate the third and final map in swift form. So they're going to take a victory here 2-1. That will move them, the Sonics, closer and closer to those major qualifier contentions, and unfortunately for eUnited, is going to push them even closer to a potential relegation spot if they do end up in last place. We have that matchup, of course, getting prepped later on this week and potentially into next week as well. But that's going to do it for Stokes and I for this evening. Don't go anywhere just yet, though, as we still have our final analysis desk segment where they're going to break down this series, all of today's action, and hopefully have a winner's interview for you guys. Stick with us, and we'll be right back with that after this break.
Here we go now. Here we go now.
Welcome back. I'm Jackie Jing with Belly and Jesse, and the Soniqs win in 3.
Yeah, it's over.
Yay! That was a lot. Belly, you asked the chat to describe the series in one word, and I cannot wait to hear the responses that you got.
First off, I want to say shout out to the chat and the viewers. Y'all did this little mod Belly thing. I'm finally a mod in the chat, so if you want to get banned for fun, just let me know. I got you. But I told the chat, in celebration of me now being a mod, give me one line to describe this whole series. And the winner is Red Cube Everything. He says, Veli, this match is our punishment for not wearing masks in 2020. And I'm gonna be honest, if 2020 was a series, this is it. I like Clubhouse, I can't explain it. I don't know. This looked like one of my gold rate games on Coastline. I loved it. I will say this, it was entertaining though, and it was full of surprises.
I mean, it completely went off the rails. Jesse, why did we go to a map 3?
Because the siege gods wished it.
I guess. But, like, we'll get a little serious here. Super actually did play pretty well, Jesse.
Yeah, I think it's important after coming from Clubhouse that the Sonic kind of shut down the shenanigans. You could tell that eUnited wanted to keep it going. But Super on Lion, I thought for the first half of this map, really did contribute quite a bit. He was getting some kills, and then really the utility usage on Lion was quite helpful. Again, when eUnited are, playing like chickens with their heads cut off and running all around the map, it can help to pin them down with something, and I think Super on the Lion really did the trick.
All right, and Veli, I don't want to be mean here, but with eUnited, what's happening? I mean, what's going on here? And I actually kind of giggled because I feel like whenever I ask negative eUnited questions, they're directed towards you. Yeah, I'm sorry, I don't know why, but what is next for eUnited? I mean, this just wasn't their series again, unfortunately.
I feel like the eUnited bully, and it sucks because, like, I like Yeti. I think Yeti's awesome. I love the ownership, but dang, y'all gotta start winning, man. So what's next for eUnited? So the way Phase 2 works, eUnited, they're 0-1. Temple Storm are currently 0-1. They're gonna play next time, and the loser goes to relegation. So they're playing to see who the worst of the worst is. These teams gotta start winning. Like, this is crunch time now. Before in the past, teams used to comfortably sit at the bottom. And this time around, it's not guaranteed. You don't want to miss out because Challenger League is so long. It's such a grueling process. You don't want to wait about a year to get back into Tier 1. So I really hope eUnited picks it up now.
Yeah.
They're too good for this.
Yeah, we will see. We will see. And Jesse, really quickly, what is next for the Soniqs?
I mean, they got a win here. Say what you will with the win, put it behind you, and look towards Disrupt Gaming. I think they finally have their full roster. They can start to build on this, and hopefully they can start actually getting a good foundation for a team. Because again, today, it seemed like strats kind of came out, went out the window a little bit. I'm hoping they can solidify themselves and make a run for that qualifier for sure.
Okay, gentlemen. Well, we have Super himself on deck. Congrats on the victory, sir. How you feeling?
I feel okay.
Yeah, okay. That's probably the right answer. You want to talk to me about what happened on map 2? And map 3 was a little chaotic as well.
On map 2, I think we were beating them pretty bad up until I think it was 6-3, and then for whatever reason, it seems like we got pretty flustered. Both of those basement rounds we had, I think we would have won if we went back armory, and we called for that, but people saw other things, so I think we were kind of just a little all over the place on that map. When I think we could have finished them a couple times, and then obviously they kept building up momentum as they went on that map. But I think the team you saw that was up 6-3 and beating them pretty easily is the real team we are. Obviously, Slevin hasn't been playing with us for that long, literally just this week, and he hadn't played with us for like a month. So, there's just not our attacks in particular on some maps are still a work in progress, but we still obviously should have won that.
Yeah, I mean, definitely some low points today, but some high points as well. Talk to me about this full roster finally coming together and what this means for your team.
I honestly believe with our full team, we're probably one of the top 4 teams. I think there are like really, glimpses of that. We beat them pretty easily on Oregon, beat them pretty easily on Coastline. Honestly, we should have beat them pretty easily on Clubhouse. I didn't play that well on that second map. I had like some bad news, I guess, between the maps. It kind of took my head out of it a little bit. That's not an excuse, though. Obviously, typically I would say that I team killed Gomfi to give them a chance because we needed more practice. But I just wasn't playing well on that map. But we kind of regrouped and got it together for the last map.
I'm sorry to hear that you got some tough news there. I hope that everything is okay. Obviously, for myself and the whole Siege community, we care about you. But, I mean, you all did rally back. Map 3 looks significantly different, and you also played very well on Map 3. So kudos to you for that, for sure. I do want to ask you how you're looking forward now, though. You're tied with Disrupt for the top of Group B. What's your team's main focus now?
Obviously, we want to beat Disrupt. Not having our full team for a long time, I think we're just like using this first split as more of like a, trying to getting the band back together, working on chemistry and stuff like that. Because like, unfortunately, the major's online. It's like a regional tournament, so it doesn't quite hold the same weight as it would as like, you're going to an event and stuff like that. So like, obviously, if we can qualify for it, that'd be great. But I think our main focus is just like continuing to build on our chemistry and getting back to where we were before. Obviously, we had to go a month plus without Slevin and Gomfi playing with us.
Well, again, I hope that everything's okay, and sending you lots of love. And y'all turned up and you got the victory. So congrats again so much, and I hope that you have a better evening.
Yep, thank you. Appreciate it.
All right, thank you, Super. And let's bring it back to our analysts. Man, I guess that there was some stuff going on behind the scenes there that we're not privy to, which honestly really speaks to his mental toughness because he came out on map 3. But I do hope that everything is okay. I mean, like, we cannot reiterate that enough. I mean, we all have fun here. We tease each other. We were giggling about the chaos and everything, but we do care about each other deeply. So, I just hope that everything is okay with him. But yeah, I mean, it was a wild day. They sealed the victory on that one. And man, we had a wild match earlier today. But let's get to the Corsair play of the day. Do y'all have any guesses on what that could be?
Oh, jeez, Jesse. I can't even think, man.
I planned ahead. I looked back at my notes before we got here. I'm thinking the Hyper 1v4 clutch on Cafe.
Oh, that was good.
Right?
Yes.
I mean, that's probably
Hyper,
my best
man.
guess.
That was the best play today. I'm with that too.
Okay, let's roll it. The Corsair play of the day, folks.
Is it? Yes, it is.
Oh.
Big brain,
Beautiful.
big brain, big brain.
I wish he won
right.
this so bad.
I know. Oh, man.
Hyper
tough
won
loss.
that round, but
Yeah, I know. Hyper won that round. That's funny. All right. Well, there's our Corsair play of the day, ladies and gentlemen. And really quickly, let's wrap things up. Let's look over the bracket and recap the day. Jesse, why don't you talk about the Group B action we saw today?
Sure, so of course Group B is the lower group. We had eUnited take on the Soniqs, and it went kind of crazy, obviously. We just saw that one, but 2-1 in the end is your final scoreline. That's going to send Soniqs up to play against Disrupt. The winner of that is going to end up with a spot in the North American qualifier. Tempo Storm versus eUnited will then play in the lower bracket. The loser of that has no chance at that qualifier and thus no chance at the major. So still some good games to go in Group B. We've got a while before we can figure out any solid results.
Okay, Veli, why don't you tackle Group A?
Oh, Group A, it's the sauciest one in all of Phase 2. Group A houses the 4 top teams. Oxygen facing off against Space Station Gaming. That matchup isn't as important as the one that we saw earlier because either way, these teams are still in the major. But if you fall last place, you are not guaranteed a spot. So it's going to be all up to this TSM versus Dark Zero match. You have to win that, or you'll be forced to play through a qualifier in order to play at the major next month.
All right, gentlemen, and that is a wrap on an awesome Monday. Man, it was a roller coaster ride, y'all.
That's the word
Am I
you want
wrong?
to use to describe it. It was fun. It was fun.
It was fun.
A lot of craziness, but you know what? At the end of the day, we had a great stream, and that's what I love.
We talked about Jackie attempting to roast people.
Yes.
Veli apparently can't say apricot, or maybe just Jesse and I say it wrong. I have no idea. I'm really confused. And Twitch chat just having a blast tonight too. Veli, I'm so happy that you hopped in there and interacted with all of them. We love you all to pieces.
I'm gonna ban everybody. Can't wait.
Oh my goodness. Okay, on that note, we have some more professional play on Wednesday. Don't miss that. On Friday, we have the Canadian Division and also Challenger League. But big thank you to these two gentlemen here. Love them to pieces. Big thank you to our casters. And of course, we appreciate all of you at home. Thank you so much for watching. Have a wonderful evening.
Activating bomb diffuser. Defenders have located the diffuser.